In today's episode, entitled How Do I Put This Diplomatically, our crew splits and then reconvenes and then splits and then reconvenes in a never-ending pattern of catching each other up. You see the group in a relatively subdued way, gathering information, only insulting about half the people they run across, which is pretty good for them. While Curran holds down the fort, bringing goodness and light, as only he and his hair can. We hope you enjoy.
We're off to adventure to go roll the dice. Come seize your advantage and you'll roll them twice. Even if we lose our way, we'll make a journey someday. Something awaits you, so anchors away. Who knows what role you'll play? Who knows what role you'll play?
Alright, so now that we're all started, keeping note, Sid is not here. I accused him of ditching us for Super Bowl, but that's not true. He's a good man and he wouldn't do that to us. Xylund left the party to go out on his own at the end of the last session, so we will pull him in if and when we need him. But Sid is here to handle recording because he's a good egg. And everyone else is, I believe the plan, well, Sid is Halloween, so that's good. And the rest of you wanted to check out the silo, I believe, in the Rock Bottom Farm.
I believe we did check out the silo.
Yeah.
And then we found
I thought you wanted to go back.
Right?
Right, you discovered there were some folks in this little kind of makeshift hospital / whatever area beneath the silo. You removed the piece of jewelry from one of them, then split up again, and Lana and Davynn ran into a young man in the woods. Some jelly tarts, which most of you ate. Not all of you ate, but most of you ate. I have the list.
I ate the jelly tarts, and I'm sure they were delicious.
Yes. And then you all reconvene to share information and go about your business. So that was my impression anyway at the end of the last session, was those who were staying behind, other than Curran, who was doing his Halloween, were going to stake out the silo. But if I'm incorrect, that's fine.
According to my notes, the very last sentence I have is Hildreth, Davynn, and Lana are going to try to help the people in the silo while Xylund tracks down Yanan and Curran begins to hallow the farm.
Yeah, that's
pretty much where I left off. Yep.
I'm so glad somebody took notes.
So.
Huzzah for notes.
Okay, so we will go ahead and we will start with the not Curran, not Xylund crew. So Hildreth, Lana, and Davynn.
Ooh, let's go break in.
We already did that.
Break in again.
Just to be clear, we're breaking in or we're staking out? Because I thought we were staking out.
Or that. I thought we were getting the...
Yeah, I can't exactly remember. It's been a while. And by a while, I mean, like, we were there maybe 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
What do you think, Hildreth? Do you think it would be more helpful to stake out and gather information or try to get those people out? Because we still don't know what's exactly how to fix those people, so I don't know how much we could help them. Hildreth?
I think that means it's up to us.
All right.
I'm in favor of getting the people out.
Okay, well, if you say so.
Sort of poke Hildreth a little bit. I hope Twinki's alive.
Wait, is he gone into a trance? Is he also going to become an animal now?
Maybe he's casting Hollow?
I suppose it's
Hello?
possible. Hello.
Hi, Twinkie. Welcome back.
Hi.
I didn't do anything different.
I don't know. They were
Strange.
talking to you. I thought maybe your mic went out on you again.
I mean, maybe, but Yaz even pushing the talk button and saying stuff. That's weird. Oh,
Hmm.
all right. Well, if you can hear me now, that's okay. That works.
What do you want to do, Hildreth?
They keep the people down there and use them as animal stock, sell them to traders to be slaughtered or used as pets. I think we need to get them out of there.
All right. That's 2 for ill-advised rescue.
Sounds good. My vote doesn't matter, so let's do it.
Yep.
That's correct.
Oh, by the way, Hildreth, can you cast Hollow? Because that was Lana's theory.
Well, he's back before 24 hours, so it's probably the spirit communing thing.
Twinkie, if you're talking, we still can't hear you again.
Yeah, you died again.
This is how about now?
Yep, you're back. Is your mic sensitivity set too low? Or too high, I guess?
I haven't changed it from when I normally use it for anything else ever.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's weird.
Technical
Okay.
difficulties.
Technical difficulties. The recording, as always.
Okay. Well, let's just go in through the same way that we did last time. It should be simple enough.
Yep. We can take that entrance in the woods we found.
Actually, that's a better idea. Yeah, let's do that instead.
Yeah.
You two have a secret entrance that didn't tell anybody.
We just found it.
Exactly, and we also just found you guys.
And just told you.
Are we cutting off, or does anybody else hear us cutting off?
Bizarre, you're not cutting off for me. I have a feeling I know
Michael's
what that
cutting
is
off a
on my
little
end.
bit for me.
That's strange. I don't hear that from anybody else, including Noel.
It used to happen to me a lot, and that's why I switched to push to talk instead of just picking up my voice, because it was always cutting off the end of my sentences.
I'm on push to talk.
Same.
That's weird.
Maybe just hold the key for an extra second and see if that fixes it.
That is what my plan is.
Are we still getting cut off, Twinkie?
Yeah, Michael's last sentence was literally, that's what and even the I was cut short.
I got that too from Michael.
Weird. I can hear him just fine.
Okay, now I have a 2-second push to talk delay. Anything
No,
I
it's fine.
say,
I got
there we go.
the whole
Maybe
shebang.
this will work. You might also just hear 2 extra seconds of me rambling and typing.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
Better extra rambling than not hearing anything at all.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd rather get extra than not be able to understand what's going on.
Okay, well, I'm glad that this works for everybody. God,
I've added a delay too.
Aw,
Prepare to hear a lot of my housemates.
okay. On a farm with goats and dogs. It's fine.
They're about as civilized.
Anyways, back in through the
That's
secret entrance that we didn't tell anybody
Yes.
about until right now, which is the first opportunity that we could have told somebody about it.
Yep, exactly. Onward.
Okay. So you guys make your way back. Does anyone have... well, Davynn, you've got some tracking. You've got some survival. And I believe, Hildreth, you do as well.
Oh, God. We can't hear you, Twinki.
Yes, I have survival.
Yay! Go ahead and roll your survival. Well, whoever is highest, I believe it'll be yours, Hildreth, but... Yes, I know. Look at that, though. Look what Twinki did. Bards are broken. So yeah, between the two of you, you easily find the quote-unquote secret passage, the set of Belco doors that led out from the nethers of the silo. And Hildreth, you've been paying close enough attention that you two could track your way back here, if need be. So you notice very much the same things that Lana and Davynn did as they came through the first time. Lots of sets of human tracks, lots of sets of animal tracks, both fresh and older, of various sizes. Some obviously have shoes that would lead you to believe that they're horse carts and things like that, and others more livestock style animals of all different shapes and varieties, sort of trampled over each other in this little clearing. It is shut as you've left it, but it also hasn't been recovered by the loose kind of leaves and debris that you guys encountered when you came out the first time. It stands very much as you left it earlier in the day.
Well, that's good.
All right.
I mean, nobody else has come by here, I think, maybe?
That's what it looks like to me.
So
We
there were
haven't
some
done that
people
one.
standing guard last time that we came here, but there was nobody down the inside. So we should be good. But if there is, then what do? Do we just jump them?
Yeah, probably.
Makes sense to me.
Great, this is a perfect plan. Let's do this. I'm gonna go
If
inside.
there's like 10 to 12 of them, I'll handle it.
Specific number, but
All
okay.
right. Specific plan enabled. Davynn, you head down the gently sloping ramp that leads to the set of double doors that you pass through. Shut automatically. They fell shut behind you as you came through the first time, and they are still shut. Bits of smoky glass in each door. There is that same lantern on the far side. Appears to be lit. There's not a whole lot of illumination in that room. But again, seems to be very much as you left it. There's no additional light. There's no movement or shadows that would give you any indication that there's anyone on the other side of the door.
All right. I guess I'll open the door then.
Open the door. Again, you've got the flickering shadows cast by the lantern on the far side. And the weird, always odd feeling that you know there are living beings in there, but nobody's actually making any noise. There's just sort of an odd, oppressed, breathing kind of sound.
Hmm.
No different from the last time that we came here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess since you're here, do you mind hagstoning around?
I suppose I must.
I will also take the time to cast a detect magic ritually if I can.
Okay. So you settle in for a 10-minute detect magic. session, Hildreth utilizes his hagstone. Nobody is popping out as hag-worthy for you, Hildreth, unfortunately. But you now get a chance to sort of inspect the figures lying on their tables. Most of them just appear to be sleeping, deeply sleeping. Sort of rise and fall of their chest, barely perceptible, but it's there. All but one. And there is an elven figure that is not breathing and doesn't seem to resonate with you the way a normal person would. They're missing something. It's almost like their spirit's been taken. It's just a shell.
All right, this one doesn't have a soul. Stab it in the face.
What?
What? Slow down, Hildreth.
You've missed a few steps here, but continue.
Lana, come here. Give me your opinion on this.
I will go over. I assume they look dead.
They look odd. First off, the figure that Hildreth pulls you to is the one whose jewelry you removed.
Oh no, I
Concerned.
don't like that.
And so you have a bit of compare and contrast that Hildreth doesn't have. The figure does seem different from the last time you viewed it. At that point, it again looked like it was in a deep sleep or a deep coma. It still appeared to have life in as much as color to the face and a perceptible body warmth. And that is now gone. But it also doesn't seem to be a corpse either. But yeah, the flesh to the cheeks that was there before is no longer there. The complexion is a lot more sallow than it was.
His jewelry back.
Definitely a different form. Would you like to give the man his jewelry back?
Yes, very much.
Okay. You reapply his jewelry. And the figure remains unchanged. If either of you would like to make a medicine roll or Arcana religion, whatever you prefer, feel free. Noel made her medicine check.
Were those jewels supposed to do something? Or are you paying respects to the soon-to-be deceased?
Both intended to be the first, ended up being the latter.
Yeah, based on your medical check, this is, it's basically a slowly decomposing body. There's enough blue under the fingernails and at the edges of the lips that this is somebody who is not breathing.
What's happening? What did you guys find?
This one's dead. Very, very dead.
That is concerning. Is that going to happen to the rest of them?
I don't know. We should probably leave their jewelry on them.
Oh, that's the... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ha! We did
But
good!
if this one's already... If this one is already dead and we know the jewelry is related, shouldn't we keep it and investigate it further?
Yeah, I was about to suggest the same thing. I will once again take the jewelry from this man.
Robbing him again in death, adding insult to injury. You remove his necklace.
This was perhaps not the most successful first trip.
No.
It's a second trip for the both of you. You're the ones that should be ashamed.
We're talking about our first trip. It was not very successful, apparently.
I see. Now that I'm here, things are more successful.
I'm gonna keep on trying to cast this spell. Maybe we can get a bit more. damn it, not detect magic.
Davynn is doing his detect magic. As Noel and Hildreth discuss in the corner, your casting completes, Davynn. There's actually not a whole lot of magic. It seems that each of the figures does carry a little bit, but it's a very confusing kind of reading from them. Obviously, there is a concentration on each of them, including the one that is now in Lana's hand, but each figure has a piece of jewelry. They're not all amulets. Some are rings, some are bracelets. There are small bits of concentrated abjuration magic on each one. And on the amulet in Lana's hand. And of course, Lana is awash in magic because she's a bard in order. But each of the figures themselves also resonates as magic, and it's a weird mix of abjuration and transformation.
Okay, well, maybe we should
Transmutation,
have
I should say.
figured this out before, but I think we already know this, but those amulets and jewelries seem to be made to protect them from something.
Yeah.
Then perhaps we should take what jewelry we have, return, and investigate it before continuing. Because our helping these people might end up killing them.
I wish we had either Kern or Xylund here who could identify these things.
About that,
What?
Well,
I learned something between sessions.
What's that?
Bards have identify. I unfortunately don't know it until we level up, until we take another long rest, but I could know it tomorrow.
Can we find Xylund? Do you know where he went?
he did tell you where he was going. He said he was headed north, and he only left right when we broke. So if you guys hustled, well, there's only one road that goes north. He was following the peddler, Yanan. And granted, he's on his horse, but you guys can fly. So catching him would certainly be
Wanna hop on a
doable.
horse?
Yes, let's do that. Also, guys, we keep on letting him go off on his own.
I know, I don't know why we do it.
Okay, well, slightly more successful second trip. Good job, team. Thank you, Hildreth.
If the two of you are going off on your own, what should I do in the meantime?
Oh, I thought you were going to come with us, but if you want to go...
Aren't there only room for two on the horse?
Yeah, that's true. I guess we could squeeze.
Yeah, it's a strong horse.
There's no point for it. It would only slow us down. The two of you go. I'll keep things under wraps here.
But what if they find you here?
I'll return to the farm.
But then they'll know that we know that they know that you...
Not if I don't say anything. Kern is still there, and if he's in the middle of a ritual, perhaps it's best I'm there and watch his back.
Okay, fair enough. Well...
And fill him in as the situation becomes convenient.
Sounds good. Stay safe then.
Yeah.
Answer, Hildreth. It's the best answer.
Do you mind if we take the hagstone, or do you want to keep it?
I don't think it will do any good at the farm currently. If you two think it will do you better, then you take it.
Maybe. We still need to check on that merchant.
In that case, Hildreth will entrust Davynn with the hagstone.
Aww, friendship.
What I wanted to
Davynn has a moment of internally being like, yes, friends, and then he pushes that down and keeps a cool face.
They're mature now. Friends. Alright, so Hildreth, you hand over your hackstone to Davynn, and then you're headed back to the farmhouse.
And because I know the way, that's easy to do.
Yes, very easy for you. It's not the balcony doors are not super far into the tree line. You've got plenty of landmarks. You're an excellent tracker. Easy enough to make your way back to the farmhouse. You do that, Lana and Davynn can mount up and out for Xylund, who's also fairly easy to see, given that he wears a gigantic dragon helmet.
Yeah.
As the little ride of awkwardness as you guys follow the path north, looking for a celestial horse and its dragonhorn helmed rider.
And I hope
Hildreth is.
Any hope Xylund has of being stealthy is misplaced.
Oh yeah, no, stealth is not Xylund's forte. Hildreth, as you wander back to the house. I don't think Hildreth actually wanders anywhere. You see that the yeah, I would say I think that's a little too casual for him. Yeah, he probably moves with great determination, skulking from here to there. Skulking back to the farmhouse, the farmhands seem to be breaking off into two groups as it gets later in the day. One group is also headed to the farmhouse, but a smaller secondary group with Reg among them seem to be powwowing in the bottom of the field, are not following the primary group. If you'd like to continue on to the farmhouse, or if you want to
That's
deal
what
with...
familiars are for.
All right. Wish to send forth your familiar?
Indeed.
Okay. Your lovely falcon. Then just trade senses.
Yep.
Your falcon swoops and listens as best they can. The conversation between Reg and the knot of his workers seems to be a little tense. Reg, this snippet of the conversation that you get when your falcon approaches is Reg is assuring this small handful of people, assuring that nothing's really changed, that we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing until we hear otherwise. Don't worry about it. I'm sure it's all fine. And the men sort of nod and grumble in agreement, but none of them protest or raise any other points, and Reg just seems to be kind of taking their measure a little bit, sort of looking at each man in turn before shepherding them back towards the silo. But they're not moving in any great hurry. They're also not talking, though. It's a fairly silent trudge off in the direction of the silo.
No, I know that's where they're going. There's no reason to follow them. I know what they're going to find. So at that, I'll summon Zoar back to me and go check up on Kern and make sure he's not being attacked by monsters.
Okay. As you reach the farmhouse, again, a group of the farmhands have sort of met, what's the word I want, amassed on the porch. There's about a half dozen of them. And some of them are talking about dinner, and some of them are just smoking a pipe or smoking a cigarette, kind of shooting the shit. They seem to be on some kind of break or downtime. And they quiet quickly as you approach, visibly uncomfortable. And they kind of part ways so that you can go into the front door if you want to. That seems to kind of be the body language that you're getting. Nobody's scooting to the side on the bench so you can sit down or anything. Like, they clearly don't want to be in your company any longer than absolutely possible, but they're not moving from their spot either. So you can go in.
To make them much more uncomfortable.
I bet. What would you like to do?
First, he's just going to, slowly turn his bad eye on all of them as he kind of takes them all in as a group. Draw it out, make them extra uncomfortable. And if none of them have anything to say except for kind of shuffling around and looking really awkward.
Yeah, they're these are not brave men. These are yeah. This is not in their wheelhouse at all. They really don't want anything to do with Hildreth. They really just want him to go away. So yeah, the tension rises palpably with this display.
What work remains to do on the farm?
There's a lot of shuffling of feet and glancing from one man to the other, and a lot of looking down and looking away, and then finally one of the larger guys, he's a little older, he's probably in his early 50s, but built like somebody who's been a farmer his whole life, pushes off from the front wall of the house there, the back wall of the porch, says, we're about done for the day. Just one last break before bedding the animals and heading back home. You needn't trouble yourself with that, though. There's plenty of us to handle that. I think your priest fella's inside, though, if you wanted to check in on him.
They're bedding down the animals then, in a silo?
Oh, well, in the barns. When we're done with our little powwow here, yeah.
But then what is that group off to do, if not to do what you said? Certainly there's a reason they went that way, and you're over here breaking and telling me there are no chores left to do. Are not all of you friends? Are they off to play some game?
And again, there's a lot of confusion passing on the faces of these guys. They really don't know what to do. So their newly appointed leader clears his throat. Regis guys? No, they're gonna go. We don't need all hands on to put the animals to bed for the night. They're gonna head out to the silo and the far fields and deal with that.
Well, in that case, maybe I should go help them with work. It's not right that my priest friend is the only one helping out. If I am to stay, I need to pull my own weight. If you'll excuse me, I'll go join them.
Nobody protests.
Oh, interesting. In that case, I'll walk kind of saunteringly over to the silo.
Yeah, the group makes no movement at all to stop you. You can kind of feel the collective breath of relief as you turn your back to them and casually wander that way. Yeah, they are in. There seems to be absolutely no desire.
As Hildreth gets a couple steps away, he'll snap his head back and say, "And one more thing. Could you let my priest friend know where I'm going?"
The group jumps as one, effectively. They probably didn't even realize they were leaning forward until you did that. And the big guy's like, sure, yes, of course.
Hildreth will start stroking Zohar's head and say, Thank you for taking that effort out of your day. But now that you've made the promise, I will be very upset if it's not kept. And so will my friends here. Even the ones you don't know I have with me. Have a good night, gentlemen. And then Hildreth will walk off.
So yeah, as you leave the vicinity of the porch, the sound goes from sort of a stunned collective silence to like the inside of a beehive where they're all speaking in very, very low tones amongst each other. Very much a feeling of anxiety and stress now coming from the porch.
Good, I did my job.
Yeah, they're clearly rattled, and break seems to be cutting short as not long after you leave Eyeshot. You can hear heavy boots tramping off the stairs and headed across the field, so yeah, apparently they decided not to stick around too much longer.
Would it be possible to catch up to the other farmhands before they make it to the silo?
Yeah, the silo is past the fields. It's in the far fields. So while you can't quite see them, they're also not rushing in that direction. So if you put a hustle on, you could very easily get them within eyesight and catch up with them totally.
In that case, yeah, that's exactly what Hildreth will do.
Okay. Come up to the back of this group. Reg hears you, unless you're sneaking.
No, he definitely wants to be here.
I was gonna say, I didn't think so. Yeah, Reg hears you before he sees you, so he spins around, and the three men that are with him slow up, but don't stop. You know, kind of glance back to see what's going on. But Reg stops entirely and turns around to face you full on. And see, he looks mildly confused, but is still, making every attempt to be friendly. Help you with something.
I was hoping it would be the other way around. As you know, we've been calling on your hospitality quite a bit, and some of my friends are putting in the effort to return that favor. I have done no such thing, and your compatriots back at the farmhouse said it would be good if I came to help you, so here I am, helping.
The look of confusion deepens. He's still smiling. He's still making every time to be pleasant, but yeah, he's clearly befuddled. They sent you this way. Well, we're just getting ready to batten down for the night. I think we got all the hands we need. There's the rest of you. I know the priest is inside. Saw him go in, but I thought the rest of you had left the farm.
Not the rest. Obviously, I am still here.
That
My
smiles.
conscience and honor would not let me abandon you without doing something first.
Well, all right. It's fair, I suppose. Kind of looks around a little bit, like surveys the fields. What are you good at?
Herbs, medicines. I can do physical labor if needed. I can kill pests.
He repeats pest to himself very softly and seems to be having a chuckle to himself. You say you're good with herbs and stuff.
That's right. Medicines specifically.
Yeah, are you a druid? Like from, I mean, I know you're not from Argrove, but are you from...
No, more holistically taught.
Then yeah, then okay. I might have something you could do for me. I'm no good with stuff like that. But see, there was a thing the druids used to do for us, and they've been so busy lately, they haven't been able to resupply us in a bit. So I don't know exactly what it is, but if I describe it to you, do you think it might be something you could make us real quick?
I will definitely do my best.
Okay, then he looks over his shoulder and talks to the three men that have gathered. Like, you fellas go on ahead while I speak with our guest here, see if we can't get that little matter sorted. And they trudge off silently. Turns back to you. Now, I don't know what it's called, but it's got to be made with stuff around here because the Grove always makes it for us. But you see, we had this like ointment. It was sort of white, only not really white. It was kind of green too, but it was real good for cleaning things. Well, cleaning people more so than anything. Without having to use traditional, soap and water baths and stuff. Because you can imagine we get kind of sweaty out in the fields, and it was real good for that. You just rub it on the skin and you just let it go, and there you go. It's like you just stepped out of a tub. Like one of those big fancy heated jobs in the city. It smelled good too. It always kind of smelled like flowers, but I imagine flowers is pretty much what the druids make stuff out of, so that would make sense. Does that sound like something you could make?
I can definitely see what I can do. If you don't mind me wandering around and trying to find herbs and flowers and ingredients out here in the fields and forests.
Oh, no. This is all for the taking. Nothing special around here. And you'd be doing us a favor, and I'm sure the Grove would consider it a kindness. Their purview. I know, I'd be grateful.
In that case, I will see what I can do.
Okay. Well, if you do find what you need, and you do happen to slap it together for us, we would really appreciate it. You can drop it off at the house if you're close. Or, I'll be around the fields and stuff.
In that case, I'll begin my search once the sun comes up and I can see. Wandering through the woods at this late hour. Well, I can still find something, but I can't guarantee my success this night.
Well, we appreciate the effort, nonetheless. Oh, there. So you're helping.
If you
Just kind of stands there.
If you will excuse me then, I will begin. And Hildreth will stop tormenting the poor people.
And he watches you leave. Like, he watches to see which direction you're going. And waits until you are full out of sight.
Yeah, Hildreth already knows what's in the silo. There's no reason to be peeking and prodding. He just wanted to make him uncomfortable before walking off. But now Hildreth has a reason to be wandering around the entire farm area.
He does.
Boom,
yeah.
All right.
And that's very much what, obviously Reg was, it was very much a battle of wits, but it was a very low voltage battle of wits. Like, he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but he was doing his damnedest. All right, so Hildreth is wandering hill and dale, looking for whatever he's gonna concoct with this. And Lana and Davynn, it does not take you long, especially once you're in the air, to locate Xylund, who does stick out a little.
Xylund? No.
Never.
Island, yes, with his plate armor and gigantic dragon helmet. He is on the road and he is headed north.
So I think we swoop down to catch up to him.
Yep.
Swoop down. Alright. Lana and Davynn swoop down on a mighty Pegasus.
Xylund! Xylund!
Yeah.
Hi, we have a thing for you to identify, please. Also, we're here to help.
I thought you guys were checking out the silo.
We were.
Yeah,
Why we're
and
here
then we
now.
decided that it would be more useful if we got this identified first.
What is it?
It's a piece of jewelry that was on one of the bodies. It fell off, and so then we found out that that body was slowly decomposing, whereas the rest of them weren't, so we think it might be protecting them.
Oops.
All right. I will take out my little wire spectacles of identify, put them on, and I'm pretty sure I haven't used those within 24 hours, have I?
No,
Okay,
I don't think so.
I'll cast identify with them.
Okay. Xylund puts on his spectacles. Just the old man style. To do your identify. Now, on the amulet, like the actual art on it, it looks mildly elvish, but it's fairly crude. But the actual uses of this thing, this is a necromantic amulet. Its abilities have absolutely nothing to do with its decoration. But if you flip it over on the back, you notice that there are small runes that have been inscribed in a circle about the size of a penny on the back of it. You really have to be paying attention, though, otherwise they just look like, wear and tear sort of scratches that you would get. And those runes indicate that somewhere in this amulet, probably embedded underneath them, is an invitation to invite a spirit into a protected, enclosed vessel.
Huh. What kind of spirit?
The spell does not specify.
So is it used?
But there must be some component, like it would have another half.
Wait, so the cup that we melted was one part of a thing? Was the other part a bracelet?
Yeah, the cup that you melted, the top part was the bell, which the
okay.
Archdruid has.
Okay.
This would be, it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical item, but this item, the amulet, more specifically the incantation, the runic incantation is tied to another, it's like it has a counterpart, sort of like a sending stone, but it doesn't necessarily have to be another amulet or another physical object. It just it's tied to a particular point. So whatever it's tied to is what's being invited into the body. It's just, you just can't tell that from the spell.
So when you say invite, like, I'm thinking of something kind of like a soul gem type deal. Like, would it, if you use this,
Kind of.
like say you stuck this on someone and invoked it or whatever, would it drag their spirit out and stick it in something else?
Way around. If you put this amulet on a living being, it would force that person out entirely and invite someone else to inhabit it. It would make that body, it would make whatever body was wearing this amulet or whatever the jewelry is, into the soul gem. It would make them the vessel, and it would invite another entity to possess them.
Can you specify which entity would possess them?
Only it would have to be whoever has the other half of the spell.
Oh, I see. Huh.
Between the two.
We should find the other half of this thing. This would be cool. We could
So
drag
it's like
bodies
a body
around.
swap amulet, basically?
Except the initial entity, the initial person, the initial owner of the vessel. There's nothing in the spell that Xylund identified that tells that entity where to go.
Okay, so it's like a body takeover.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a swap because the initial owner doesn't have a particular place to end up. They're just forced out.
Oh, and they sort of dissipate into the ether.
And whatever happens to them, again, the spell does not specify. So
that's rude.
They could run rampant. They could get destroyed. It could be a point to point that's just not written in this spell. It's hard to say.
Like, think of what we could have done with this if we'd had this when we were, butting heads with old Green Eyes there. Like, we could have taken over his body and infiltrated the Glamoured.
Okay, but first of all, that's horrible. Second of all...
No, he was, like, we killed him. Like, what difference does it make if he dissipates into the ether or if we take over his body?
Taking over souls is a line I'm not entirely willing to cross. I'm sure that you have other lines, but that is one of mine. And second of all, that means that the person who was dying or, decomposing, the soul that was forced out might not have even been theirs to begin with.
Yep.
What do you mean?
So we took this off of it fell up. We took it off of a person who seemed fine. And then when we came back later, we found out that body had started to decompose, whereas the rest of them hadn't. And long story short, we thought that we had just killed somebody on accident. But if this is an amulet that forces the wearer's soul out, then whoever was in that body might not have even been the right person to begin with. So their spirit might just be in the wind somewhere.
So you're saying that they might have already done the body swap before you took the amulet off?
I don't know, but it's a possibility.
Or maybe they were, oh, crap, that's my phone. I gotta take this.
Okay. Xylund has to answer a call in his helmet.
He's sending
I'll be right.
Current.
He said, "I'll be right back." Holds setting stone to his ear, pulls the glass down. She can't see what's going on.
But otherwise, Lana, I don't see how it would make the body decompose by taking it off.
Yeah.
If it hadn't already triggered or something.
Yeah.
That I can't answer, and I can always repeat that for when Sin comes back. But again, the spell that serves as the basis for the inscription is it's basically a gussied up repose spell. So it holds the body in a healthy state and prevents it from decomposing.
Gotcha. So it can stay empty and also
because the spell that's used, the spell that's infused within this runic incantation is a very long-term thing. It's not an instantaneous thing. So that's the part of the spell that is necromancy, is the preservation of the physical while this takes effect. Instant sort of ejection kind of thing. It is a process.
Right. So we have a whole bunch of soulless corpses being preserved by an amulet that ripped their soul out at some point.
Kind of gonna be difficult to save them if they're soulless.
Yeah. And then they turn the corpses into animals?
I'm not sure. Maybe they put the souls into the animals, or maybe that's what happened to us, because we kind of all passed out. So people said.
Maybe I have no memory of that incident, but...
Yeah, you were a rabbit.
Yeah, unconscious rabbit. Drew the short stick, really. So yeah, maybe that's where they send the souls.
That's just
we got lucky.
A lot more complicated.
Yeah, I kind of want to find some hags and beat them up right about now.
That would be so much simpler.
I know, right?
I am not trained for this. You know who was trained for this? That was Lily.
Yeah, and she's possibly still stuck in said soul hell. It's really unfortunate.
Agreed. So, I guess we can go after this merchant, see what he knows, but it seems like we're just grasping at straws here.
Yeah. At a certain point, we can fall back on the old trick of make a stink in town and see who comes to murder us.
One of these days that trick won't work, and people will realize that we are not heroes, we are bumblers who happen to get lucky.
Yeah. Backup plan.
But hey, until it stops working, we should keep on doing it.
Yeah. I mean, nothing more effective than sending the people you're looking for after you.
Yeah, who needs bait when you can be the bait yourself?
Exactly. And there's no way it can go poorly. Can you imagine, like, the druids' faces if we just showed up again at one of their rituals?
Hey guys, we are here to interrupt, and that's it.
Yep.
Didn't find anything.
We'd like to invite all hags to now attempt to murder us. We are giving you a free first shot.
I could probably take a first shot from a hag.
Yeah.
I mean,
We didn't have too much trouble with the first one. I mean, sure, like 3 people went down, but
I wouldn't like
it's
it,
really the
but
druid
I
that's the
could.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Although the druid might have been a hag, so...
Yeah.
Or a hag assistant, so if they have more hag assistants, then that would be bad. Hi, Xylund.
Hi.
Did you have a nice talk with Kern?
Yes. Actually, I think it was the wrong number, but
Wait, how does that work with sending stones?
I don't know. One of those magical mysteries.
Who was it?
Someone trying to order pizza.
Wait, what's a pizza?
It's a disc from a different land made of dough. You put various toppings on it.
Oh my god, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, well, I didn't really know what it was either, but he described it to me. Now I'm hungry.
We should try to do that next time we make camp.
Yep. So what were you talking about?
So, do you think that the amulets take the person's soul out, and then there appears to be a part of it that just keeps the body fresh, so that somebody can take it over later on?
I was thinking that, and maybe it was in like a dormant state, the body, when it was wearing the amulet. So like prepared as a vessel type deal.
And otherwise, honestly, we don't really know where we should be going. You said you were going after a merchant.
Yeah, I'm going after the peddler who deals in these animals that the farm people have been selling.
Well, let's go.
That they've been getting from the druids.
Yeah, let's go after him. And we brought this. I take out the hagstone.
Sexist. What was that?
I take out the hagstone and show him the hagstone and say, we brought this. It might help, it might not, but, you know, try whatever we can at this point.
Do hags travel? Like, I always picture them more as huddling in hovels and shit.
I don't know.
Does it
I wish it were simple as just finding hags and looking at them and punching them.
Right. Okay, but if you guys are coming along, like, there's probably going to be some interrogations involved here, so you guys have got to be on board with that.
I can do interrogation.
All right. Where's Hildreth anyway? He's good at these.
Yeah, we did leave him behind.
How far out are we? Like, would it be worthwhile to go back and get him?
Yeah, like,
I think
you only got an hour ahead of them. Like, all they did was go check out the silo and then decide to come get you. So you guys are not that far from the farm.
He wanted to stay behind anyways because he said he would make sure that Curran stays safe and also do some investigation around the farm.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's go track down this peddler then.
You're leaving Hildreth behind?
Are we?
Well,
I think that's a question.
That's a question for Twinki, I think.
Twinki, do you want
Would
to
you
come?
like to get picked up, Twinki?
There'll be interrogations.
Hildreth isn't there. That's on you guys to figure out.
I'm wondering if you don't want us to pick us up because you said not to, but otherwise I'm totally fine with metaing that.
It's as far as I'm concerned, it's up to you guys whether or not you pick up Hildreth.
It's true.
I'm just clarifying.
Yeah. I mean, he is good at interrogations. We did a good double team.
He is very scary.
Well, I'm pretty scary too. I got my dragon helms. If he wants to stay, like, it makes sense that someone should be there to take care of Kern while he's doing his ritual. So that's not a bad idea. I just don't want Twinki to be left out of the game for however long it takes, is my thinking.
Okay, well, let's just get going then.
Okay. So we go.
So you go. You're following a path to the north. Now, the road itself is not overly large, but it's clearly well traveled. Multiple sets of wagon tracks are visible, and you can see very clearly the marks of people, animals, horses, livestock, things like that. It's fairly calm and quiet. Nothing really out of the ordinary as the day starts to draw to a close. Sun starts to set a little. Now that you're deeper inside the woods, it is starting to get a little colder at night. You can kind of feel your proximity to the mountains and kind of feel the additional elevation changes in temperature from when you were down in the plains. Most completely, as you travel, the path branches out into not quite a crossroads, but it widens significantly. It does continue to the north in the same sort of well-traveled fashion, but there's also a smaller branch off to the west that seems to be more of a rut than an actual path. The only thing, sorry, I just sneezed. And the only thing that makes it noteworthy as a path is that it is set with two fairly sizable stone markers. They're about chest height on Xylund, and they have a prominent hole on the top of each. Otherwise, they're sort of oblong shape coming out of the ground. And the hole has been threaded over and over and over again with ribbons. Kind of maroon colored ribbons. Some have been sun faded to where they're almost pink, and others are obviously very, very new and much, much darker. And there are markings drawn all over, finger paint style, one on top of another, to where you really can't make out what they might have been at one point. They've been retraced so many times on top of one another in a dark red mulberry. There's actually several short trees, like stunted trees, that mark the first feet of the path. Oddly disturbing and yet celebratory opening to a path, which is the only reason anybody would even notice it was there. Otherwise, it's just sort of in the grass.
Well, this looks eldritch as fuck. Let's go this way.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Lana, do you know anything about the significance of these ribbons and other things?
Can I roll Bardic?
Yeah. Roll religion.
Oh no.
Heather?
No.
Do you have religion?
I'm skilled in religion.
Same. Maybe
I'm a
we
paladin.
attempt.
Yes, anyone who's skilled in religion may attempt.
Oh wait, I'm not skilled in religion, but I mean.
I am moderately. Okay. Well, yeah.
I will give you guys advantage because you have actually run into this before. Mulberry trees are sacred to Kalashim.
Oh.
Oh, all right. That's the storm, right?
No, she's the wild goddess. She's like
Yeah.
the-
Oh, yeah.
Calishin, yes.
No, I'm thinking.
Calishin is. Yeah, Inaline is Kern's patron goddess. She's the sea storm goddess. Calishin is the mother of Inaline. Is one of the three, considered the three creator goddesses. She's goddess of the prime material. So she is the neutral / chaotic neutral wild deity who often clashes with druids and their groves because they generally try and claim the same places as holy. They don't get along. They don't tend to like each other. You have seen a high priestess of Calishin before. They're called the Decim or Decimantar. And that was the fully tattooed, bone-pierced badass that you saw very briefly, the one who lent you a follower inside Castle Greylock.
Whatever happened to that follower anyway?
You guys never inquired about her.
We just lost track of her?
Well, no,
Yeah,
she
'cause
survived,
you guys-
right? She was in the.
Yeah,
cell.
as far as you know, she survived. Yeah, she
Oh,
ended
okay,
up with Bowen and
alright.
Gale. But as far as what happened after the castle was set to right, that you don't know. But yeah, you have run into high level members of Calishin, and technically Marielle, the head of Camp Vanellis, is a priestess of Calishin.
All right. Well, that's certainly a thing to find near a druid's grove.
Well,
Yep.
isn't she anti-druid though?
She's very anti-druid.
Exactly. Hence, quite a thing
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
in the sense of why.
Yeah.
I do like your idea, though. This looks eldritch. Let's go down this path.
Yep.
Alright.
Maybe I will hang on a sec.
Bird.
Do. How long does this last? Yeah, do you guys mind taking 10 minutes while I cast this on myself? Just in case.
Not at all. I think we can all put it up in those 10 minutes, actually.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I'll do that too.
As I say, you all have it as a ritual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, can bards ritual cast?
I was under the impression they could, but now I'm horrified that they may not be able to.
I believe bards can ritual cast. Double check, because I don't have that
I'm
hooked up.
Googling.
You can do that too.
Yes, they can.
Yes, they can. Okay, good. I've been doing that this whole campaign. I was worried.
I was just gonna say, I think I questioned it the first time just because I was still used to 3.5 and just never questioned it again.
Bards are amazing now.
It's alright though. I know how to trip up a bard.
I'm not doing that
Give
yet.
me a big button that destroys the world. That's how.
Pretty much, yeah, just trap all the loot. That's how you defeat a bard. Alright. So, are you actually using your divine sense, or did you just hit the button?
I just
Okay.
hit the button.
Okay.
I'm keeping it
Just
on
checking.
standby.
Okay, you might need it. So you guys head down this little side path, and the kind of scrubby mulberry trees continue with small stone. Is sort of an elaborate word for what they are. They're really just little more than cairns or small stacks of flat-ish rocks dotting both sides of the path. No real organization to them. Just sort of here and there they pop up among the undergrowth. The woods are very, very close here, as opposed to around the larger road that you were traveling. This is an area that is not logged much at all, so there's a lot of old growth here, and a much heavier canopy, and you can smell the deep evergreen scent. You continue down. You don't smell or other signatures of civilization. You don't smell campfire. Ark. Very clean, natural kind of thing. It reminds you of Vanillas, except there's no bonfire, and you don't hear the sound of drunken elves. You travel down this little rut, which sort of breaks here and there, but isn't marked any place except on this main path. And just as the gloom gets to the point where Xylund starts to have trouble seeing,
Wait. I have.
you still see.
dark.
Like, it's dim enough that you can still. I should say Team Human, I shouldn't say Xylund. But where it starts to get just gloomy enough to where vision becomes a problem, the path opens up onto a very small enclave of constructed buildings. Thatch and wood. But again, sticking with the natural theme of things, this is dead wood that's been claimed. It's not. These people have clearly not gone out of their way to clear it by hand. That they have built around an existing sort of opening in the forest. There's no more than 7 or 8 of these very small, very simplistic huts. There is a central fire by the looks of it, but it's not lit, and there is nothing cooking on it. There's several sections in between the houses where some kind of cord's been struck and things are hanging. Meat by the looks of it, predominantly. But all the houses and all the stones around the bonfire pit and everything else, even in the darkening light, you can see they've all been painted over in that kind of finger painting style. And there are some ribbons hung among the drying meat. You can kind of hear them flapping in the breeze as well. But you don't see anybody actually outside yet. And there's no lights in the few windows that you can see. There's also no glass here. All the windows are open.
An idea just occurred to me. If these guys are anti-druid, maybe they're buying the animals to rehabilitate them. Maybe we should befriend these guys rather than interrogate them.
That was my thought, because... Well, first of all, we don't even know if the druids are doing good here, or if they've been taken over. But it's also entirely... I don't think they're all bad, but, the organization clearly has turned for the worse. And it could be either that they're here, that this group here is trying to stop that, or it could be that they're causing it. Either way, we need more information, and friendliness is a good policy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll just hang back and look menacing just in case. You guys
Sounds good. Just do what you do best.
I'll go vom. So I'll go vom, 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 vom.
Okay.
Softly.
Alright. It's a Xylund noise.
Yeah.
Xylund.
Yep, Xylund.
Xylund to the Xylund.
Alright, so we'll wander into town, not looking for a fight.
There's nobody really to fight with. Like I said, there's absolutely nobody standing outside, and the only movement that you perceive is the fluttering of the ribbons and kind of the swaying of the meat that's hanging on the cord. If it weren't for the fact that the meat doesn't look rotted, you wouldn't know that this place was inhabited. It appears to be totally a ghost town.
I'm used to having people just standing around that we can chat to. Not
Hello?
call. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool, we do
beat me
that.
to it.
Xylund, you call out?
Yeah. We seek Yanan.
4 or 5 beats of that continued solitude. One of the doors to the little huts opens, and an elderly man comes out. walking with 2 canes in a shuffle step kind of thing. Very much in the winter of his years. Good solid white beard on him. No hair on top. Eyebrows that take up a good quarter of his forehead. He's a quality old man. But he comes, shuffle steps out on 2 canes. Up to Xylund. Slowly.
We come in peace. Vom, 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 vom.
Vom, vom, vom. He gets up fairly close to you. I mean, his nose is about chest height to you. Not super tall. And peers up, squinting silvery eyes at you. Yeah?
Yep.
Just looks at you.
This
Alright.
is Davynn. This is Lana.
Hi, Davynn from Whitfeld. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Doesn't take his eyes off Xylund. He's like still, I mean, he's within inches, like to the point where Xylund would be getting a little jittery because we know he has about personal space.
I understand. He does look very cool. It is a very nice helmet.
I'm Xylund. And you are?
What do you want?
We're looking for Yunnan. We noticed all the Kalishan Falderall around here. So we thought maybe we might have a common problem. It seems that the druids in the area have been turning people into animals or some shit. And someone named Yunnan has been buying these animals and possibly leading them in this direction. So that's kind of where we're at. Obviously, we're not on board this whole turning people into animals thing. So yeah, if you guys are also not into that, I guess we could chat. If you are into that, then I guess
We can still chat.
yeah, we can still chat. I mean, it probably won't go super well, but yeah.
We can still chat. Let's just leave it at that. Let's not make assumptions about how it's going to go.
Kind of tears his gaze away to look at Davynn for just a second.
Hi,
Is it Lana
Davynn from
for you?
Whitfeld. You still didn't get your
Less
name.
time. Uh-huh.
Do you have a name?
Uh-huh.
I think his name is Huh.
Uh-huh. May I know your name?
Backs up a little bit off of Xylund. It's Skettle.
Skittle. Okay. Well, nice to meet you, Skittle.
Oh. Looks at you Gal expectantly again.
What was that? I
Why?
didn't catch what Skettle said.
He just said so.
Oh.
What is it you all actually want?
Oh, well, we're also, I mean, we're not disinterested parties here. We're looking for a friend who might have been turned into an animal, and we'd like to retrieve him. We thought maybe, first of all, are we even barking up the right tree here? Do you know this Yunnan person?
He is actually very close skeletal. Both in name and in appearance. We don't keep any animals here. I don't think I've dealt with a Yunnan.
Can I get an idea of how this community functions? Coming from a farming community, I feel like a little place like this, they'd have to have some way of keeping food stocks. And they have meats, but they don't seem to have live animals.
Yeah, according to Skettle, they don't keep animals, and like I said, you don't smell the smells that would come with a farming community. There's not the smell of livestock, there's not the smell of manure. There's, as you were approaching, there was no indication that there was any sort of food crop or cereal crop or anything that would feed them or animals.
So, if you guys don't have animals, then where do you get that from? I motion towards the hanging slabs of meat.
We hunt.
Nope. Yeah, fair enough, I guess.
What do you
What's
do
the
for
game around
vegetables?
here like?
Vegetables.
Say again?
Snorts at Xylund. Vegetables.
Yeah, hunting vegetables. Uh-huh. I think that's called
We
foraging.
take... Yes. Take as she provides. Anyone else looking for anything more is just asking for trouble.
She being Calishan here.
We've actually had some dealings with Faithful of Calishan before. Have you heard of Campanalis? Because we're a pretty big deal in Campanalis.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you haven't heard of Yunnan? What about a traveling peddler? Just like a traveling peddler who might have come through here with animals.
Maybe.
Do you get
Come to
many-
my door for
many
just
visitors?
everybody, you know? No.
The impression I'm getting from this person is that they're intentionally stonewalling us.
Yeah, maybe we should be rolling insight on this old bastard.
Yeah.
Do I get the idea that they are doing this just to be annoying, or... Hey!
Oh, there we go.
Hey, we found Davynn's weakness. He doesn't trust old people.
Yeah, sure.
Ah, all good rolls. This guy, he is difficult to pin down. Yes, clearly he is messing with you, and he is being less than truthful. Whether he's doing it to amuse himself, or just for fun, or he doesn't appreciate the questions. Whether it has a malicious intent, you're not truly sure. But yeah, he's not being 100% forthwith, of course.
Okay, well, I don't know. Yunan's path seems to lead through this town one way or another. So, would you mind if we asked around some other people who might know? Anybody who deals with outsiders?
Outsiders.
Yeah, like us.
I'm really the only one that bothers talking to outsiders.
How many others are there here?
A very odd gesture to the houses. Like, it's very short and it's very to the point. Like, he meant it to be inclusive, but he kind of cuts it short, so he only actually gestures to one or two of the buildings. We're as many as we need to be, I suppose.
So one thing we remarked was that traditionally you Calishan folk aren't super friendly with the druids, but like the druids are fairly close. They're just sort of over that way, and I'll gesture vaguely in the direction I think the druids are.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you so close to them?
They're close to us.
You were here first?
Always been here.
Well,
To
why
be
did
fair,
you
that
move
is
so
a
close?
two-way street. You can't be close to somebody without them also being close to you. That is, literally speaking, I think emotionally you can be close to somebody and they can not be as close emotionally to you.
You speaking
During
from experience there, Davynn? Am I
Yeah.
detecting
Yes.
subtext?
It's a guess. I don't know for sure.
True.
I don't think I've ever actually run into that situation.
So Alan will glance at Lana to try to read the situation between these two.
during Davynn's little speech, Skettle
Insight.
sort of
Oh, yes! That was
shuffles
between
backwards.
Davynn and Lana.
Okay.
Alright, there used to be something going on.
Not anymore?
As far as they're concerned, yeah.
Silent snickers.
I will leave it to Lana to impart whatever information she wishes or does not wish to give to Xylund.
I think Xylund got enough off of Davynn there.
It seems like, but I'll leave it be. So yeah, during Davynn's sort of rambling, Skettle shuffles backwards on his two canes and like does a 3-point turn, so he's redirected himself towards Davynn, and like a very slow heat-seeking missile
Oh, hi.
focuses
Hello?
in on Davynn.
Yes? Can I help you?
Don't choose where she manifests, boy. And he spits on the floor as he says it, or on the ground as he says it, chooses to make their little camp so close by, that's on them.
Okay then. From our religion checks earlier, do we have an idea of, is Kalishin like more like a hippie style, get along with nature type of goddess, or is she more of a feral wilds type?
She is a feral. She's one of those where at her, it's kind of like Old Testament, New Testament kind of thing. At her heart, and those who tend to follow Kalishin that live in rural areas and wooded areas follow very much the feral path, that nature is a balance. There are predators, there are prey, there's no morality to that. It simply is. And but you do see twists of that. A lot of elves that follow Kalishin take it to more the hippie aspect, we're all God's creatures kind of thing. And the ones that are a little more Old Testament, a little more old school, take it to the other extreme, and that's where you have like the Decimataire, which are very hardcore, using balance and twisting the creation aspect of life into blood magics.
So she would...
To fuel their spells.
She would theoretically be totally fine with turning people into animals in that Old Testament.
Yes, there is no morality to it. That there is only balance. So it would only be a problem if that balance were upset, which is why she's not a goddess of magic per se, even though her adherents do use spells. Hang on a sec. A lot of them manifest powers that are a little closer to druids because they don't trust clerical magic and they don't trust arcane magic. They consider them perversions of the natural world. So they would be okay with people getting turned into animals as long as it didn't disrupt the balance of things.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're gonna take a look around now, if that's alright with you. Or, actually, honestly, even if it's not alright with you, we have a mission.
You can do what you want.
I'm gonna hang out by the old guy. I've got a few more questions.
Alright. So he waits for Davynn, possibly Lana, to peel off before he does his 3-point turn.
I will lighthouse my detect magic.
Yep. There are some, and for all three of you, there would be very low level pings. The markers that are closest to the village have low level abjuration magic to it, clerical magic to it. The stones that make up the central, like fire pit, central bonfire, same thing. There's traces of conjuration magic near some of the houses, near barrels and other containers that are currently empty but might have been filled at some point. Nothing here that really like sets off any triggers.
After a little bit, when this guy is hopefully not looking at us as closely, because Xylund's probably going to be very distracting. I would also like to put the Hackstone up in the lighthouse.
Okay. Some more questions for this guy, Xylund?
Oh, yeah, sure. So when the druids moved in so close, you must have been a little bit annoyed, huh? Or your predecessor, or whoever.
Yeah, he kind of snorts and spits. And like, I ain't that old,
Yeah.
son.
But you get what I mean. You must have been, or you must have been a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
So do you guys keep
They do.
tabs?
Eh. Every now and again, one of them gets lost, or one of them from that fool town down south. Well, this way, we just set him straight and send him home.
Because, like, I don't know if you're aware, but they're up to some pretty, like, I don't know a whole lot about druids. I don't really have an opinion on the matter. But these druids in particular are pretty shitty. Some of them, at least, like, up high in their ranks. With the aforementioned turning people into animals stuff and then selling them. So you don't know anything about that?
I've been turning folks into animals. He spits every time you say the word druid, by the way. Seems to be a reflexive habit for him. You might try up pathways.
What's up the pathways?
It's down up. They might have more use for your trader than we would. Weird folk too, by the by.
So this might sound like a bit of a weird question, but I've been kind of like, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of like a paladin of Grenin over here. And I've been kind of questioning my life choices lately. So could you give me like a short pitch on Kalishan as an alternative?
Oh my god. Secret order number 4.
Like, for instance, what's Kalishan Heaven like? Because, I mean, Grenin Heaven is well, I don't want to say too much, because I'm still technically a paladin of Grenin. But, you know, just for my own edification, what do you guys believe about concerning the afterlife?
And it looks at you, kind of cockeyed. It's the faith already. You're youngish, I guess. You leave this world, boy, there is nothing beyond. It returns, sets it back when she feels is proper.
I think I missed part of the last bit of that.
But she sets it back when she feels is proper.
Sets what back?
I don't know what happens in between. Your light goes out until she chooses to light it again.
So you believe in reincarnation?
After a fashion.
But not
Don't
with
always
all
come
your,
back as up.
not with all your memories, though.
Oh.
No. We all got parts to play. Sometimes you're the predator. Sometimes you're prey.
I think I'll give that one a hard pass. Yeah, that's not really what I'm looking for. Thanks, though. I appreciate the, that's one I can cross off the list. Yeah, so, I think I'll just, see what my friends are up to. And, we'll be on our way. So you've never heard of this Yunnan?
Like I said. No. but I don't spend much time talking to outsiders. I don't get out of my chair unless I'm interested.
All right. Well, I like your whole community you have here. Good job. And I'll wander off. See what everyone else is up to.
Davynn was lighthousing with the Hagstone, which didn't reveal anything.
I just have more questions now. This place might be a red herring.
Yeah, super weird.
Well, he said we could go further up the path. I mean, we might as well.
Yeah, take a look around.
Hold on, one more thing. Excuse me? Skittle?
He's slowly shuffling his way back to his house.
Just one more question. How long has this community been here? You mentioned it was built where Kalishin wanted you to go. What sign, I guess, showed you where to be?
The trees. He again makes a very short, curt gesture in the direction of the path where the mulberry trees are.
Ah, gotcha.
Oh, well, if you do happen to, just in case, how do I put this diplomatically? Just in case you're lying to us, and you actually do know exactly what's going on, and you happen to come across a badger, or a dwarf named Badger, just tell him that we're looking for him. My name's Xylund, as I mentioned. Davynn, Lana.
Uh-huh.
Thanks.
Uh-huh. Wanders back towards his house, doing a super slow double cane shuffle.
Yeah, just more questions now. Let's keep going into the other community.
We might have to zone of truth that guy if this doesn't pan out.
I hope we don't. I really don't like any mind magic stuff.
Well, and there's the risk of turning the whole village against us.
And that too.
Yeah.
So, as a point of order, Davynn, as you and Lana were scouting around, you didn't actually see any other people.
Yep.
No movement in the houses. Nobody behind a house. There were no other houses beyond this little clearing where they were built. You did not actually see another living creature here.
Before we leave, I will ping my divine sense. I totally forgot about that.
What are you looking for?
Anything. Celestial fiend or undead.
Feet. Not behind total cover. Also detect any place or object that's been consecrated or desecrated. That was well. Yeah. There are definitely the presence of hallowed items here.
What are they?
The stones, the ones that are closest to the village, including the ones that mark the bonfire circle, have all been hallowed. Old man's house, the one he came out of, is hallowed.
But not the other houses?
Mm.
So he's like a priest or something.
I'm gonna real quick go up to another house and knock on the door.
Okay. Again, nothing here is super well made or super well fitted, so there's massive gaps around the door, which is little more than barely stripped, mid-sized branches that have been lashed together and hung up with cord. So it rattles as you knock on it. There's no apparent locking mechanism, and you can absolutely see inside. There is no answer on the door, and from what you can see in the cracks, there's no furniture. There's not even a chimney. There's no fireplace.
Hello. I'm gonna push the door open and get a
Okay.
closer look.
Yeah, it opens freely. It's a single room. massive gaps where the walls meet and where the roof meets at the top. There's 2 windows, no glass. The back window doesn't even have any shutters to keep out the wind. And there's no furniture, no pegs on the walls, no clothing, no remnants as if someone moved out quickly. It's just a dusty, leaf-strewn room.
Man, you know what would suck is if we left this place and then it brigadooed into vapor behind us or something like that and we couldn't come back.
I'm gonna check the other houses.
Okay.
Said there weren't too many, so it shouldn't take too long.
No, there's only about half dozen buildings altogether. And the others, again, from the center of the village, you can tell none of the others have chimneys either. If you knock on the other doors, you find very much the same thing. Not, less, it's more of empty storage than housing that is no longer housing. It doesn't ever look like these places were lived in. There's no grooves in the floor from furniture. Basically glorified storage rooms that don't look like any person's ever lived in them.
Okay, something's wrong here. I'm gonna go to Skettle's door as well.
Okay. Well, Skettle's door is made of the same types of materials, and it doesn't seem to have any better craftsmanship than the others. It too lacks a chimney, from what you can tell. But now that he's inside and it is, full on after dark, once he has shuffled his way inside, he has bothered to turn on a lantern, so you do see a little bit of light cast from his window, but his windows don't have glass or shutters either.
I'll give him a solid thump, 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 and then Skettle, there's something you're not telling us. There's nobody else here. There is literally nobody else here. Nobody has lived here. It's just you. What's going on?
It takes a solid minute before the door reopens. Ben's there, stooped over at both of his canes, looking a little tired. Well, there's as many as there needs to be.
What does that even mean? Why do... sorry, this is gonna sound rude, but I have to deal with so many people who insist on talking in riddles and being mysterious, and I really wish that people would just get to the point. So what does that mean?
He looks at you very carefully, and his face takes on a very different demeanor. Like his eyes kind of brighten by a couple of shades. And
like green?
No. He has kind of gray, silvery eyes.
Wait, silver?
Silver?
Silvery, grayish
Like
eyes.
mine?
Very similar, but not bright. They don't have that kind of metallic. They're human colored gray, but they do have a little bit of silver to them. But it's more, it went from sort of space cadet to more aware. And so yeah, he seems to be taking you in fully for a second or two. So why do so many people speak to you in riddles, lad?
Because we go around asking places where we're not wanted, probably.
He very slowly reaches one of his ancient hands up, still has his cane clutched in it, and with the tip of one of his finger taps the edge of his long nose before slowly beginning the 3-point turn to head back into his house.
Hold on.
Hey, before you go, how'd you get your eyes like that? The silver in them. I'll take off my helmet and point to my eyes. Check this out. See?
The gods made me. How did the gods make you?
I drank some blood. That's a
That
pretty
is-
Kalishan thing to do, though, eh? Human
that
blood.
okay, another
Well, no, sorry,
little
tiefling
chuckle.
blood. I didn't mean to be racist.
It was tiefling blood. It was rabbit blood.
Kind of stares at you for a moment and then looks back at Davynn. Are you sure that's why I don't talk to you in riddles?
Well, I would love to know why if you have a theory.
He tries to shuffle back to his, with his door open. You can see he actually has furniture in his home. There is no fireplace, but there is an ancient rocking chair, a table that only has 3 legs and is actually being propped up by a windowsill. It's like been hammered into the windowsill that it sits next to, so it'll stand up straight. And a small chair to the other side of that little table, I guess, in case of visitors, as well as a pitcher and a small meal set, plates and basic silverware that have been kind of cast off into a corner for the next meal time. But it, at the very least, looks like somebody exists there. So he leaves the door open when he starts shuffling back to his chair.
Skittle, please, can we... I'm sorry, but this is something that we need to do. We're searching for a friend, and... well, 2 friends at this point, and we are incredibly concerned. Because something's going on, we don't know what, and you seem like you know things. We might be wrong about that, but any help that you have would be incredible for us.
Down into his chair, lets his canes rest on the side of his little side table. Friend boy. I did. Looking for a peddler, or a peddler's wares. Travel north. There's a fool town up there. More information for you.
Alright. Sorry for interrupting your night.
How far is this town?
Not far. If you travel through the night, you'd make it. Or you're welcome to stay here. Just don't eat my food. Not in here, but out there. And he kind of kicks towards the open door with a toe.
Does anything weird happen in this place at night? Like, do woodland spirits come out to dance around the bonfire, or strange forest spirits?
Stranger than you all? I don't think so.
What do you say?
I'd say we keep moving.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, he's probably underestimating our speed. We can probably move faster than he thinks we can.
Yeah,
He doesn't know you can fly, for one.
super fast.
And I have a magic horse.
Magic horse.
And
Alright.
I can ride on somebody else's magic transportation.
Yes.
That is my superpower.
Alright. So, you guys wander back to the path and head to the north in the dark of the night. Hildreth, what are you doing with your evening while these guys are harassing senior citizens?
I mean, I already had my fair share of harassing senior citizens and just people in general.
Yes.
So, after doing a cursory walk around of the farm, making sure there's nothing else going crazy, and I guess actually looking for herbs so I can justify doing what I'm doing,
Uh-huh.
I'll go back and hunt Kern.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a medicine to see if you know something. Okay, and then a knowledge of nature to see if you can track it down, just to see if you can approximate. Yeah, so you can come up with something that will approximate what it is he's talking about. since you don't really know the name or the makeup of it. So you can gather odds and sods and bits and bobs coming back to the farmhouse. And by the time you get there, the majority of the men have cleared out. By the looks of it, the lights outside the barn, the lanterns are dark. The doors have been shut and latched from the outside. So it appears that whatever evening activities they were working on have completed. There is no sign of Reg or the 3 men who were traveling with him inside the house. But it currently appear to be Kit, who is in the kitchen, and Kern, who has stationed himself in the far bedroom. Is completely into his ritual, however. So he does not
In that case, I guess Hildreth will sit down and start having himself some cold whatever dinner used to be.
Yeah, say there's dinner on the table and Kit's in there clearing up. Again, she is as equally nervous around Hildreth as everybody else is, to the point where she actually, unlike Lily and Lana, where she was kind of able to make small talk, but she was clearly weirded out by tieflings. She has no idea how to deal with Hildreth. He gets a smile when he comes into the kitchen, and the rest of it is her with her back very conspicuously towards him, and a lot of nervous clearing of throats, and the occasional clatter as she loses her grip on whatever pile she's trying to carry around. It's a fairly uncomfortable moment.
After Hildreth has a good couple of bites to make his tummy happy, he'll strike up a conversation. I have questions for you.
At the sound of Hildreth's voice, she immediately drops the 3 plates that were in her hand and just on the counter, and starts to pick them back up, restack them. Oh? Okay. She is not turning in your direction at all.
I've been given a task.
Huh?
There are things I need to get it completed.
Oh? Like what?
And Hildreth will reach into his pouch, but before he takes out all the herbs and things, it's for health, you understand. I don't quite know what all the ingredients are. And Hildreth will slowly stand up, keeping his hand in his pouch, eye contact.
Yeah, she eventually does kind of turn around and look at him. Go ahead.
There is one thing I know for a fact. I need you for.
Of course, Kit is just like obviously terrified. There is no attempt to cover the terror in this woman's face as she clutches to her dishcloth, holding it in front of her like some kind of shield, unconsciously. Yes.
And Hildreth will pull out the herbs and drop them on the table. I'm trying to make something. A ointment that's supposed to be rubbed onto the workers' bodies to help clean them and soothe their muscles. I wasn't given a very good description, and I was told that the druids used to make it. Might you help me concoct some? I feel awkward not pulling my weight around here.
She breathes a sigh of relief. Her whole face changes. Looks like she's aged about 5 years in the past 10 seconds. Yeah, I can do that. Just beeswax, beeswax and farmer's cheese, and yeah, I have both of those. I have both of those. I have both of those. I'll go bring you what I have. I'll be right back. It's still clutching her dishcloth. She sidesteps her way out of the kitchen. You can hear her going out the front door. She doesn't close it behind her. And it literally is a few minutes later. Tap, tap, tap up the porch steps and inside. And she's got a dripping cheesecloth in her hand that's got farmer's cheese in it. And a big honkin' beeswax loaf in the other. I'll have to heat this up. But she plops the cheesecloth down on the table. Just kind of goes bleh. And starts to reset the fire in the kitchen so she can melt the beeswax. It'll take a minute, but then you can throw all your stuff in there, and that'll work, I think.
Thank you for getting cheese and beeswax.
Okay. Is there anything else I can where's everybody else, by the way? Davynn and your armored friend and the young lady.
Hildreth will just stare at her.
There's a twist at her dress a little bit. I hadn't seen them for supper, and Kern didn't say. He just said they were taking care of things. He didn't really say who they were or if they were coming back or anything. He also said you were taking care of things too. I didn't realize you would be back. So it's good. It's fine. And when you're done, the guest room, you know where the guest room is. That's where Kern is doing his ritual. Very fancy. So if you get tired, you can sleep in there when you're done. But I think I'm going to turn in the night now that everything's been taken care of. If that's okay with you.
Hildreth will just keep staring.
And she cannot hold your gaze at all. She cannot do. She tries, and she just can't do it. She's constantly looking at the floor. She cannot meet your eyes at all. And so eventually, after a few attempts, and you could just see the blush creeping up from her neck all the way across her face. It's the weirdest little bob curtsy you've ever seen in your life. But she does it, and she sort of sidesteps her way out of the kitchen. And you hear the little pitter-patter of her shoes on the wooden floor, and a door that she probably wasn't trying to slam, but she absolutely did slam. And that's it, and the house goes absolutely quiet. And she left the fire in the kitchen going, she left all the lamps burning in the hall, she left the lamp burning in the kitchen. Only half the dishes are actually put away. She's out of there.
People are very strange, so are.
Awesome.
After dinner, Hildreth will do the rest of her chores before going and seeing what Kern is up to.
Very, very nice. All right. Kern, it takes him 24 hours to do his spell. So he is still in deep concentration, but you notice that the symbols that he's drawn have gained a bit of a kind of bluish silver cast to them. And for some reason, the guest room smells a little bit like rain. after it's been raining all night, and that kind of first smell when the sun hits it. Dang. But it's totally there. There's glowing in the center of the circle.
Well, Hildreth isn't going to interrupt him. He'll probably sit off on the side and write up a little thing saying, "Hey, yo, Kern. Actually, no, we probably shouldn't write it in case the farmers find it. I'm going to look through my stuff and see if there's like a way I can leave a secret message for him. Otherwise, Hildreth will just turn in for the night."
Okay. All right. We'll skip forward to the morning. Sin, do we need to break the audio?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just actually texting you. We should probably take...
Okay. So while you look for magical message stuff, we will take a quick break, potty break, whatever you need, break the audio, and then we will come back and pick up the next morning and see who else Hildreth can terrorize.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
I'll have you know he's being a perfect gentleman.
I love it. I love it, absolutely. I love that he's just waging this war of terror without actually doing anything to anybody. It makes me
We've all been
to no
pretty
end.
restrained this time. Like, we haven't burned anything down or
No, nothing's on fire. You haven't beaten
traumatized
anybody up.
too much.
Well, Hildreth is
And yet,
traumatized.
this is still,
A little bit.
and yet this is still the most fear anyone has shown us.
Yeah, Hildreth has single-handedly terrorized 3/4 of Rock Bottom Farm by doing nothing but holding conversation with them.
Jesus.
Which is awesome. It's the best. Poor Kit.
Twinki, can I ask a question about Hildreth?
What's that?
Is this intentional scary, or is this just how he thinks people talk?
Kind of a combination of the two. Like, he knows there's something up with these people, so he doesn't want to get too buddy-buddy, but he's trying to fit in, but he has more social graces than, like, a dead caterpillar, maybe?
I love it.
So,
I think it's awesome.
So, yeah, he's trying his best. He's not good at it, but he's trying.
I'd like to think the stare in that case was just him processing and trying to figure out what to say.
That was the logic there was definitely I don't feel comfortable telling you, so I'm just going to avoid it by not saying anything.
Maintain eye contact. That's how people...
Exactly.
Yeah, don't want to be rude.
Keep eye contact.
Yeah, I don't want to be rude, so I'm not going to look away. I'm just going to stare at her intently because I don't know what else to say. That's why I love it. Yeah, like half of it is social awkwardness and the other half is intentional, and you're not really sure which is which. And it kills me.
I feel like this party is full of people who are different flavors of social awkward, and that just is kind of how people view them is because of their different way of being social awkward.
It is. Well, I can, again, as an NPC, I can absolutely say it is very much like being on a merry-go-round, because yes, you all have very different ways of dealing with the public, and
none of them are good.
And none of them mesh. It's like you're either perfect complements to each other, or you're absolutely diametrically opposed. So if an NPC is comfortable talking to one of you and the other one comes in, it's generally a totally different approach. And so it's almost like you have to mentally reorient yourself to the new person, and I could see what would be very disorienting for the average individual to try and have a conversation with more than one of you at the same time.
And yet
there
we
really
all
is
get
no
along
homogenous
so
way.
well.
Yeah, but you guys complement each other really, really well, and it's just the best. It cracks me up to no end. Like Maniac Mansion, where depending on the pair that you put together, you can solve different things. It's kind of like what it is. All pairs work, but they all work together differently. It's a heck of a countdown there. Thanks, Sid.
You're welcome.
All right, Twinki, did you find anything to leave your secret message on?
Nothing at all.
All right. So we will go ahead and pick up in the morning. Hildreth, is there anything you wanted to do in the morning specifically? Or were you just going to hang around and menace people?
Mostly the latter.
Okay. So we will start with the away team. And Lana, Davynn, and Xylund, you guys have traveled, I'm assuming effectively through the night, unless you decide to stop and camp.
Well, we're hoping that he underestimated our speed, I think, and we're going to try to get there before too long. Like, hopefully it won't take us all night.
Okay. It would not take you all night. Again, this is a proper town, so you actually... You see signs of it before you actually see the town. So you see the smoke above the canopy, and you see the forest kind of thin out slightly. It's still fairly thick here, and very evergreeny. A little frosty overnight, but you can see where a lot of the old growth has been taken, showing human industry. Before you actually see the outskirts of the town itself. So if you wish, you can stop and take a short rest, a couple of hours outside the town before actual dawn. Still be in the town itself at first light. It's up to you.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Sure.
Okay.
This is turning into like a proper adventure. We should have maybe gone back for Hildreth. Although he's keeping himself busy.
When we land, I can send the horse back in his general direction.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. You're gonna send your horse when you rest, or when you
Probably when we get there.
when you actually
We're
get to
just
town?
parking right outside the town, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll park. I'll send the self-driving car to go get Hildreth.
Right.
Go, Batmobile.
Exactly.
You waiting for it to return, or do you want to start to explore the town before he arrives?
I think we'll start.
Yeah, we don't know for sure that he's going to arrive, so we might as well just go ahead without him.
Okay.
Also, I don't currently have sending, so he's just going to have a horse just like headbutting him with
pretty
no
much.
explanation.
Yeah. So we'll jump off that bridge when we get to it. That's why I was curious if you were going to wait for him or not. So we'll go ahead and get you guys started then.
You know what? We should try to find
After
some
you-
brocane in this town. That'll really perk us up after staying up all night.
No.
Just keep it in mind, if you meet any shady drug dealing looking types, just point them out to me. I'll
Okay.
hook us up.
Sure. That'll probably not happen. I'm gonna go into the town
Nice.
now.
Yep.
Enter the town. And again, this is an actual proper town. The path that you traveled to get here was the same wider, better traveled road that you started out on before you took your detour into Skettle's Land of Mystery. So once you arrive, there's a proper town center. It's about the size of a hamlet, you know, probably no larger than Davynn's hometown. Kind of that same sort of vibe. There's not a whole lot of agriculture here. It still seems to be very much a forest type town, but they do keep small livestock given the sounds of goats and sheep
My
carried
kind of
in
people.
the morning air. Yeah, not quite as agricultural, but these are definitely rural folk. The homes are mostly made of wood. There's not a whole lot of stone here, and they are very clearly built for the weather. You noticed overnight the temperatures dropped pretty precipitously after dark, and these people already have fires going. The buildings are very closely set, plank-wise. They're built to withstand the cold, and they are also slightly elevated above what you can imagine the snow line would be. And it seems to have your general town necessities. There's a town hall looking building, the largest building that looms over the little skyline. And given the number of horses parked outside of it, there is a pub / inn / gathering house. And other than that, again, it's fairly quiet. It's still early, so people are either out and about outside the city limits, or they're just waking up.
All right, this is a bit more what I'm used to. Who were we looking for? What was his name?
You're sexist?
Yunan? And also, no?
No
I
to
don't
her
think-
being a woman?
Say again?
No to her being a woman?
No to me being sexist, though I haven't re-examined my personal biases recently, so it's possible.
Moving
Well,
right
maybe-
along.
Maybe that's what went wrong between you. Maybe it's time you re-examine those biases.
Okay, excuse me, sir, Rabbits be passing by right now.
Yep.
You're just gonna flag down the nearest closest person?
Uh-huh.
I mean, they don't really have a defense force, but there are a few folks wandering in public that could be the town guard or something in that vicinity, in as much as they are up very early. They're one of the few people that you see with weapons, and they appear to be eyeing you as you enter the town itself.
Hello, my name's
You
Davynn.
need to move.
I'm from Whitfeld. Not sure if you've heard of it, the place. It's pretty small, kind of like this place. What's your name?
Nods a little bit. Spiff.
Well, that's a spiffy name.
He gives you that look. It's like, I'm really over that joke.
Sorry, I'll see if I can
Okay.
think of something better.
Can I help you folks today?
Yeah, we're looking for a merchant who might have come through this town. His name is Yunan, or their name is Yunan.
God damn it.
The guard nods slowly. We know Yunan. Comes through here every few moons. Probably at the festival square, which is all the way to the north of the town. I don't know if she's here currently, though, to be frank. I haven't seen her lately.
All right, well, we'll check up there for her. I shoot a glance to Xylund.
I give him an approving nod.
Thanks.
He watches you
yeah.
leave and then kind of calls after you.
Yeah,
Don't say it.
Don't say what?
I won't say it. I whisper it to Lana.
No, he calls after you. If y'all looking for rooms, you're probably out of luck. He nods to himself and continues
Gotcha.
to wander.
Why?
All right. Well, I hope he has a spiffing day. Anyways,
What's going on? Why are we out of luck?
Festival.
Probably
Oh,
it's booked.
Yeah.
Continuing to the north.
Yep.
Crossing to the northern side of town, things pick up significantly. The southern part was fairly commercial and kind of slow this early, but northern side seems to be where they've set up a makeshift market square rather than in the center of town where you would expect it. And a lot of these people are here. They're actively setting up. It seems to be where the majority of the town is concentrated. There's also quite a few traveling wagons and obvious traders and peddlers from other areas that are staking their claim. And folks that are also hanging decorations, garlands. There are a few fires going. Judging by the smell, they're burning some kind of a floral incense type thing, although it's difficult to place. So yeah, this place is absolutely just stuffed with people.
Well, I guess we'll look for someone who might be selling animals.
Yep.
Okay. There is one livestock trader, but he's very obviously male. A younger guy, kind of shaggy brown hair, dressed in poop-colored clothing, and it's probably not all dye.
Hey there,
But he has standard livestock for sale.
we're looking for Yanan. She'd be a competitor of yours, probably. Do you know her?
Oh, there's no competitor of mine, but yeah. Yeah, I know her.
Whereabouts is she?
You just missed her. Oh, she passed through a few days back. You won't catch her for at least another day or so. They have to open the pass back up first. She was lucky, slipped through before they closed everything down.
Oh my god.
Pursuit.
Do you need her?
A little bit.
'Cause I've got plenty of fine animals. It's not the only game in town, and he starts to make a grand show of walking over to his wagon where he has several goats and several sheep tied behind. He's got one that looks kind of like a llama, except it's much, much, much fuzzier.
Yeah, I'd absolutely love
But
to
it's
look
about
at
that
these
height.
animals, actually.
I want it immediately.
Fuzzy llama.
Yeah, it's about that height, but it's very, very woolly.
I want to walk over to the animals with him because I'm interested in seeing if any of his animals also might have jewelry or any identifying things on them.
He's more than happy to take you back there, chatting your ear off the whole way. Yunan's not, and if he repeats himself, Yunan's not the only game in town. Yeah, she's famous, I guess. But if you're looking for a local animal, well, you can't do any better than mine.
Trust me, I understand.
Yes.
Getting all these foreign traders coming through Whitfeld, and they'd be trying to, elbow out all the local markets, being like, "Oh, this stuff you guys don't know what you're doing."
Exactly, and if you're a specialty buyer, if you're one of those learned folk and you need something small and squishy like, I guess she is your girl. But if you're looking for something that'll either taste good or pull a plow, well, can't do any better.
Yeah, of
So,
course. I mean,
you want you back.
I haven't actually heard of Yunnan. She didn't come by Whitfeld at all. What makes her so
Uh-huh.
famous?
Well, Yunnan, she's one of those. She's kind of a collector, not just a trader. So if you find, well, if you're out, you're a hunter, say, or you're a shepherd, and you find one of those oddballs that you sometimes do, you can sell them to her.
Like
Whereas
times
you're not like
that
to-
are made wrong, or what?
Yeah, that are born not quite right, or sometimes in the wild, their mamas left them behind for one reason or another. Most of us, we just put those down. We call it a mercy, and we don't think twice about it. But she seems to have a soft spot for him. She takes him on. Sometimes she'll buy him from you, and she works wonders with him. She can often, find buyers for him, and for whatever reason. And she, like I said, she also kind of cottons to the smaller, squishier types of animals, more pets than help.
Yeah, understood. Well, if we find it, if anybody asks about the livestock, we'll be sure to send them your way.
Appreciate it. Yeah, there's more competition up here than you would think. He's very proudly showing off his collection to you. And he has a few goats and he has some sheep. The goats are more the cashmere variety. They're stockier, built for a colder climate. So they've got the larger horns and the heavier coats, longer coats. The sheep too are about 20 pounds heavier than you would have seen in the plains, or a little stockier. The wool isn't as soft, but there's a lot more of it. And his little llama, his fluffy llama, is very impassively chewing on something and staring at you. It's also an odd color. It's not quite gray and it's not quite white. It's almost got like a greenish cast to it, but it is super duper fluffy. It's honestly like cotton balls were stuffed to this animal in vast amounts.
Also, what is up with that tall sheep?
Dorsa?
Yeah.
Special around here. You mostly see them higher up in the mountains. We do occasionally send, have them down here though, because they winter the weather really well. Did you want one?
I'm just curious what it is, and if that's their natural color.
Well, this one's not normal. Normally they're brown, like deep brown. This one's a little special, a little lighter in color, but I think that whole herd was a little lighter shade, if I remember right.
Huh.
What are they good for?
Ooh, whatever. They can pull up to a certain level, Not going to see these guys pulling a whole team or anything, but if you've got a light plow or a small holding, they'll do you right. Not much for riding. Big as they are, they're not super broad. A horse will serve you better there, or a mule. You can eat them, certain. They're a little hard to breed. Probably don't want to eat them, but they'll do in a pinch. Mostly, though, you can shave them down. Their wool's hard to work with, but if you find someone who knows what they're doing, it's great stuff, lasts forever.
I'll touch the wool. Is it soft?
Kinda. Like it is very cottony, but it's also super thick. Like you wouldn't be able to put your fingers through it. It would definitely need some. You can see what he's saying. It would definitely require some working to make it pliable enough to spin. But it is very soft. Doesn't seem to mind you touching it though.
You mentioned that the pass was closed off. What do you mean by that?
Oh, it's their way up here. I'm not from Soulskin myself, but it's a festival they do. They close off the pass up into the mountains, and they have one of those little fire festival things. Celebrate one of their saints. And then when it's over, they open the pass back up.
So this is the path up to the mountains.
It's the best one. It's the only one suitable for a wagon.
All right.
You could do it on your own, but this is the safest way.
I wonder, there's no other way of getting up there?
Well, like I said, if you were brave and a strong enough horse, a man could make it on his own. But if you're pulling a wagon or a team or anything like that, you really should stick to the road.
Right. Well, if only, if only it were easy as just flying up there or something.
Laugh. That'd be a good one. Sometimes you see, well, I guess I shouldn't.
No, go ahead.
They say, there's the witches. And sometimes people say they see them flying
The witches?
in the night. Hear them go by and stuff. Yeah.
Are there witches near here?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, they're not at that other place just down to the south, are they?
I don't know. I mean, I really can't. And he kind of lowers his voice a little bit like it's some big conspiracy he's sharing with y'all. I don't really like to on someone else's parade, but folks around here are pretty superstitious. I don't even think it exists.
No.
The witches?
I think it's just tales to scare the kids, or old timers trying to spin a good yarn, I guess.
Who have you heard talking about the witches?
Oh gosh, they all do. Everyone who lives here
Oh,
does.
yeah?
Oh yeah, old tale. Everyone always tells it. Every time I come, there's some geezer in the corner of the inn talking about the time he saw that witch, or the time the creature from the black approached him on the path, and this, that, and the other, and it's all silly.
What's this creature from
I've
the
never
black?
seen anything like that. Oh, that's what, it's one of those traditional boogeyman sort of things. Like everyone's seen him, but nobody's seen him kind of thing.
I mean, that sounds kind of interesting to me. I think we need to go check out an inn. Find an old man in the
There's
corner.
plenty of folks there today.
Yeah, is there something going on?
Just the festival itself. Like, it's actually kind of a big deal. You'd be surprised. For a little town up at the mountain base, it's pretty well attended. I think it's because it's the only temple around here. No. Go ahead.
Where is this festival exactly, or it's at the temple?
Yeah, well, the temple puts it on. The temple is further up the mountain path. So it starts down here at the base of the mountain. And the hires up, they do their thing. There's usually a dance, and there's always good food. You should stick around for the food, if nothing else. And then there's a processional that goes up the mountain pass to the first landing. And they do another ceremony on the landing. And then that's usually where most people kind of give up, call it good, and head home. But for the truly diehards, there's a second day. And I don't really know what happens on the second day. I know they go further up the road, because that's why they close the whole thing down. And then after the second day of doing whatever it is they do, they open the road back up again for everybody, and we can get the hells out of here.
So who is this temple to?
Oh, you don't, well, they say it was originally God, but you ask him now, and they will swear on every last scrap of food they have left that it's a temple to Essen. I don't believe that personally, but you never know.
Who did he say it was originally to?
Yeah, I missed the first.
He just said a dark god.
Oh.
Oh, gotcha.
To Essen.
Sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, since the pass is closed anyway, I guess we could find alternate
Food's worth
means,
it.
But
I mean, I will say that these folks can be a little addled sometimes, but they know how to cook. And there's going to be plenty of wares. He kind of does a broad gesture to the market square, and then people selling all kinds of stuff. So if you're looking for something interesting, this would be a place to get it. Your non-maven, well, I don't know. She might come back down. It's hard to say. There's not much up that path, really, like in terms of town.
Well, I think we should head up that way. But thanks for the information. And thank you for showing us your llama. May I pet him? Her? Them?
That's female, son, and yes.
Her. Yes.
You can pet her.
I will pet
Yeah,
the
she
llama.
makes no indication. She's just in her own world. Just being soft and fluffy and getting petted. So you guys are having your conversation and making friends. Hildreth, go ahead and cut back to you. As you emerge from the farmhouse, because there's no one in that farmhouse now. Like Kit, I don't know where Kit went. Kit is not there. She didn't leave a note. She's not in her kitchen. Who knows? The door to the great room is open. She's not in there. Kit decided not to stick around that morning. And none of the farmhands are on the porch. So you are literally by yourself. But you will get a visit from a Pegasus. Outside.
It's a pretty uncommon thing to get a visit from.
It really is. It really is. And there are a few of the farmhands that are in the closer field that see and remark loudly upon it as it descends.
Well, I guess Hildreth will go check out this. He's ridden on it before, so he recognizes it, right?
Yeah, he's ridden on it before, so, I mean, it's not a stretch
Okay, yeah.
to figure out that it's probably Lana's.
He'll go examine said strange creature.
I don't believe it speaks. If I remember correctly. Does it, no?
No, it does not.
Did not
It's smart,
think so.
but it does not have a mouth.
Right. I knew it was intelligent, but I didn't think it had speech. So yeah, it can't introduce itself to you or convey a message in any way.
Oops.
It just stands there majestically.
Well, I guess you'll walk around it and examine it, see if there's anything attached to it.
Oh yeah,
Nope.
I should have put a note on it. That would have helped.
No, nothing attached to it.
Hildreth will get face to face with it and stare at it like he stares at everything else and see if he can come up with an answer.
Stares it down. This is unmoved. Stands its ground. In the doggos.
Yeah, you have to forgive me. My roommates are home, so the doggos are
Okay.
going to lose their crap.
It's no problem. Doggos are doggos.
Well, Hildreth will shrug. Just kind of stare and see what everyone else in the field is up to.
The few farmhands that are close enough are making sounds like your roommate's doggos. They are. They're clearly alarmed. Yes, they're like, holy crap! They're freaking out, but they're not getting any closer. Like they haven't left the field. They sort of saw you. They don't want to get any closer, so it's a lot of exclamations. But nobody's approaching the scene.
Well, there's got to be a reason it's back here. There's no notes attached to it. It's not going anywhere or doing anything, so the next obvious choice is to get on its back and look like I belong there.
So Hildreth poses heroically on the back of the Pegasus as it takes off, heading back to its mistress. Alright, so while we wait for Hildreth to arrive, what do you guys want to do?
So when exactly does this festival kick off? Like when does the procession start?
Noon.
Pardon?
Noon?
Did you say soon or noon? Noon, okay.
I say let's go to an inn, hear some more about these witches, because that sounds like the best lead on the hags that we've had thus far.
I want to find out what dark god this temple used to originally be dedicated to.
I don't know if we'll be able to find that out from anywhere official.
You guys do that. I'm going to go investigate the temple. We'll meet at the temple, since that seems to be where this kicks off. Am I correct in saying that?
It starts at the base. So at the on the outskirts of the city on the northern side is where the festival square is, and it's also where the road north up the mountain starts. So you won't be allowed to pass up the road, and up the road is where the temple is.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
But there are clerics, or very obviously clerics of Essen, that are among this crowd at the base of the road getting set up for the festival, because they all wear bright orange, red, and yellow. So they're very easily identified.
Okay, well, I'm not very hopeful if they're going to tell me what dark god their temple used to be dedicated to, but I'll go poke around with them anyway. and let
Okay.
Davynn and Lana investigate their thing.
Mhm. Davin and Lana, you wanted to go to the inn?
Davin did. I'm not sure what Lana wants to do.
Yeah, I'll tag
Davin
along.
did? Okay. All right. So you guys, and again, you've already seen it because it was on the opposite end of town. So you know pretty much where you're going. So while they head off to the pub to make friends, Xylund, you want to approach an Essen cleric and strike up a conversation?
Yeah, I'll just sort of stand at some distance watching what he's doing with polite interest. Vom, 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 vom.
Eventually he will notice your polite interest. All three of the clerics that are most visible are male. So he'll stop and turn around to greet you in your Vromness. Greetings, welcome.
I'll take off my helm to make myself appear more friendly, more personable.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm just here for the festival and such. So you guys are priests of Essen.
Yes. We administer to the town. Are you here on a pilgrimage or just passing through?
Just
Or
passing
just
through.
all right.
So, but I'm
Will you?
curious about Essen. Like, let's say I was in the market for a god. What would you say to convince me that Essen is the god I should go with?
Looks. It's an odd expression, but yeah, it passes quickly. Well, she is the spring of life and hope and the beauty of summer. Or what could compare with that?
Nothing springs to mind. So I've heard rumors though that are a little bit disturbing. Like before I sort of get too deep into this Essen path I'm considering going. There are rumors that this temple of yours used to be dedicated to a dark god. I was just wondering if you have any information about that.
Is an eyebrow that I'm aware of. The chapel is certainly very old, but I'm quite sure that it's been rededicated thoroughly. And then he kind of leans in a little bit. The area was controlled by others for long stretches of time, so every holy site is going to have some conflict in its history. But I assure you, those influences to remain.
Right. When you say others, like I'm a paladin of Grennan at the moment, as you might be able to tell from my general grayness. But so I'm kind of familiar with like exorcisms and purging of evils and all that stuff. So, and some are easier to purge than others, as I'm sure you're aware. So, like, just to set my mind at rest, which exactly evil forces needed to be purged?
Well, he it looks like he's struggling to answer this in a polite fashion. There are many factions that have fought over this land throughout its history. We have multiple groves that have called this place home. We have other various deities that have chosen to walk here. But those are all gone now. I wouldn't say evil necessarily, simply older.
You say it used to be a grove?
Yes, on and off.
Okay.
Yes.
So are we talking Kalishan here?
People have claimed this area once or twice, yes.
What do you know about that Kalishan village just down to the south? And that guy Skettle?
I've never met him. It's possible her worshippers still live here. The people often talk about seeing witches in the night, and we always assume that's who they're talking about.
Yeah, it could be. But do you guys do tours of the temple once we get on our way?
Oh, absolutely. Once we get the feast undergone, we will take a procession up to our chapel. We do the benediction of Saint Enlet. Everyone does their sacrifice, and then for those who wish to take the secondary journey, the next morning we'll continue on to the as far as we dare go on foot. But the church is always the first stop, and there'll be a secondary meal waiting because it is a bit of a walk, and we understand. But secondary meal and makeshift beds, and obviously plenty of blankets and fire to keep everyone comfortable as we go further into the mountains.
So when you say as far as you dare, is there something dangerous other than just mountains up there?
Well, things that come with that, though, the wildlife is a little less tamed up that far, and then of course it's not exactly suitable for climbing, and the topography can be pretty rough on its own. The temperature is really the biggest concern. It gets extremely cold at night, which is obviously the reason for the festival to begin with.
Is it? So it ushers in the spring or something?
No, it's to honor Saint Enlet.
Right. Who's that?
Enlet was a believer. She led a small group of refugees that were escaping a conflict to the south, and she led her people up through these mountains. She was considered to be a very capable leader. She cared greatly for her people, and halfway up the pass, they had run out of food, they had run out of supplies, they're old, they're young, they're sick, we're starting to freeze. It was truly an end moment, but she prayed to Essen and sacrificed the very last of what she had. She was a musician before she came to lead her merry little band, and she burned her collection of compositions. It's the only thing that she had kept from her old life. And in sacrificing her life's work to start a fire, she was blessed by Essen, and the clearing where our chapel now stands was blessed with sunlight and warmth, and the snows was driven back, and her people were able to survive not just that night, but a week thereafter. They never wanted for food, or light, or warmth.
How long ago was this?
Oh, centuries.
So long enough for this story to get a little bit distorted. Potentially.
Cleans himself up a little bit. As with all, there have been additions here and there, but I am confident that this story is accurate,
Well, I can't...
well chronicled.
Okay. It's just a theory occurs. Like, I can't speak for Essen, but like in my dealings with gods, they tend to be more of they help those who help themselves. So like maybe another version of this story might be that this what's-her-face got up there, prayed to her god, and thought that her god gave her a message saying it was okay to eat the weak and infirm, and that's how they survived.
And tilts his head at you. Perhaps your lack of faith is what is underlining your quest for a deity.
That's possible. Also, I died once and I didn't much care for the heaven that comes with my religion.
Nods slowly at that, his face not betraying any other thought.
Anyway, I'm very high. I think I'll go over here now.
Wow. Why do we keep leaving him below?
It's
I don't know
because
why
actually, he keeps on suggesting that he goes off alone.
does, and I love it that anytime there's a holy person around, you guys just let him talk to them. Just really. All right,
That's
so
clearly not the god for me. So what?
clearly Essen is not speaking to you. So while Xylund is offending a man's entire belief structure, let's cut over to Davynn and Lana, who, again, going through the town does not take super long. You're able to make it to the pub, excuse me, fairly quickly. The town is starting to perk up a little bit, so you see more clusters of people on the southern end, but everyone seems to be sort of migrating slowly to the festival square at the northern end of town. The pub is still doing a fair bit of business, though. There's still plenty of people in there, and it's a pretty lively atmosphere.
All right.
There's two bartenders behind a very small bar, and it's just chock full of people.
I think we'll walk in and clock the place, see if there's anybody that we can find as locals, and then buddy up.
Make some friends.
It's hard to decide who is local and who isn't. Again, there are a lot of people in here. It is standing room only at this point. There's a little space at the bar. Some folks are definitely travelers, and other folks look like they might have just come off the road, given their garments. They look a little road dirty and dressed for the cold. It's difficult necessarily to tell who's local and who's not, outside of that.
Makes sense. Hey, Lana, you want any drinks? Let's just make some friends, I guess.
Some. Yeah.
Split up and compare notes? Or actually, no, let's just stick together.
Yeah, it's probably safer. I'll drop a gold, because no one trusts a sober person at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
True. Bartender.
Potato ale?
Yep, the bartender comes over at the clink of gold. Potato ale? Yes, we do.
Thank you for calling it by the right name.
I'll take one of the same.
Okay. All right. Roll investigation, Xylund. So 2 potato ales are forthcoming. The bartender, again, kind of a youngish, blonde-haired, blue-eyed. He's probably not 18 yet. Very young. He knows what he's doing. Says, what can I do for you?
Yeah, we're looking at. We saw some interesting things on the way in here. Was hoping to find some locals. Just asking a few questions about something we saw.
Well, I was born and raised here.
What's your name? I'm Davynn from Whitfeld.
The Tan from Soulskin.
Yeah. So from Soulskin. That's perfect. I'm glad that you also introduced yourself with your name, with your town name.
Well, I don't normally, but that's okay. It'll work in this scenario. What can I answer for you?
Yeah, so we were on our way here, and when we were looking up at the mountains, we could have sworn we saw something flying up that way. Didn't quite seem like a bird, but because didn't look like it bigger than that.
You caught sight of the witches. That's very fortunate. And the whole time he's talking to you, he's also, you can hear drinks being yelled at him both by the other bartender and at people's far end of the bar. So he's constantly serving people and talking to you simultaneously, just never missing a beat. This is clearly the man's profession.
Fortunate? Which just sounds fortunate.
Well, if you met one on the dark path in the middle of the night, probably not, but you got to see one from afar, and on your first night, too, which is pretty fortunate. A lot of people have to stay here for a little while before they catch sight of witch. Some people live here 20, 30 years and never see one until one night, and then, well, sometimes we don't hear back from them, but normally we do. And they always have fantastic stories. I wouldn't say go chasing it necessarily, even though the story's pretty good, and it would probably get you a drink or two here on the right night of the week, but the witches themselves, well, they can be pretty scary. I'm not sure it's worth the risk.
So hold on, there are actual witches up there in the mountains then?
Oh, witches all over the place.
All over? What do you mean all over? How are you guys okay with
Yeah,
this?
throw a stick without hitting a witch. Where have you been?
Whitfeld?
I don't really. I'm sure it's a level. I don't really know where that is. Is
That's
that-
right. Most people don't. Most people absolutely don't. So saying that we didn't want to run into any witches, but we also kind of want to head up the mountain for some business. Where would we be avoiding?
You can't take the pass now because of Saint's Day. Once Saint's Day is over, you can take the pass up. As long as you stick to the road, you should be okay because the clerics, they control the road these days, so they make sure the witches don't cast any spells over it or, snatch kids from the side, that sort of thing. But at the top of the path, where the road ends, well, then you're kind of on your own because it gets real wild country after that real fast. There's a couple things up there that I've heard of. There's a, necessarily, it could be, we don't know. But there is an old house up there. And there is someone who lives there because occasionally we send food up that way, but it's only one person who ever delivers it, and she's already gone. I don't know if she'll be coming back or not. But other than that, you're on your own. You're on your own once you're up there. There's whatever's up there, that's for you.
Wow.
But if you stay down here on this side of the path, then anywhere you go in the forest, you have a chance of running into a witch because clerics don't control this side; they only control the north side.
All right. Do you guys even know where these witches are? Do they live somewhere in particular, or do they just wander?
Witches really ever live anywhere? I don't know.
I don't know either. I've never met a witch.
I haven't, personally, so I don't know. But you hear folks tell they run into them behind every tree. I don't really see them, setting up households someplace. I don't know.
Well, I don't think we can wait. We've got to get up there sooner, right? We can't wait till the pass to reopen.
I can call the horse back.
They won't let you through.
Oh.
You have to. Well, they won't let any horses through. He looks at Lana specifically. They won't let any horses through, especially.
Decide not to.
They've got a ceremony they got to do. But it only takes 2 days.
Yeah, well,
And the
this place
festival's
is
a lot of
booked
fun.
full. This place is booked full. It's not like we can find anywhere to stay.
Well, yeah, there's no rooms here at the inn. That is true. That is very, very true. But you'll find a lot of the traders will rent out bunks in their wagons. They'll probably charge a small king's ransom, but it's an option. They usually have protection and stuff, which you don't really need around here, unless I guess you're protecting yourself from the witches, then you might. But from people, you don't really have to worry about it. And besides, you look like capable folks. You could probably hire yourself out, even.
For protection?
Like,
From witches
you
or
good
people?
with a sword? Both.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
yes, I'm
have
good
any
with
kind of
sword.
training or anything. I would just say, if I could fight, I'd be on the first wagon out of here, and So you folks look capable enough, they'd probably hire you on, and then you don't have to worry about a room.
Well, you want to learn?
Well, I'm not supposed to. It's bad luck. That's
Says
what my
who?
mom says, anyway.
Well,
My mom.
I'd say that it's a way of avoiding bad luck down the line.
Says, war visits those who invite war. But that's okay, because, we got this place, and I'm a fair-handed idiot. And, of course, he hasn't stopped the entire time he's been talking. He talks just as fast as Davynn does. But he's also serving drinks and food on top of it.
All right.
So this is clearly a life he's been conditioned for.
Well, do you know anybody who recently ran into witches?
Recently? I don't think so. Oh, no, I mean, you always hear the, ooh, I heard him on the roof last night kind of thing, but sometimes I think that's just people looking for a free drink. So no, I don't think so. Yanan said she ran into something weird. She wasn't here very long. She delivered a package, and then she dumped some stuff off.
Oh, actually,
sold.
Looking for her. We're looking for her. Do you know who she delivered that to?
She had one package for the cottage up north. I do know that.
And that's the one at the top of the trail?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was super mysterious. And yeah, that was... She always likes to come in and she always eats when she gets here. Because she talks about how there's no good food on the road on the way up. McGrange, she says their food's crap, which might be. I don't know. So yeah, she had a package for up north, and she had one package for the elder here, Elder Mazad. And then I know she dropped some stuff off to one of the traders at the square, but I don't know who.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Appreciate it. And she made her way up right before the pass closed, right?
Yeah, she was in a big hurry. That's why she dropped all that stuff off at the market square rather than setting up her own stall. Normally she sets up a stall, at least the past couple years she has. But she said it was urgent and she needed to get up the pass like nobody's business, so she didn't want to be locked out.
Hey, if her business is urgent, then so is ours. So I guess we should get going before we lose our opportunity. Oh, one last thing. You said free drinks for people who bring you witch stories?
Yeah, folks who tell a good story sometimes... Well, I mean, you've seen it. Like, sometimes the bards will come in and they'll start a really good story, a real good song. They'll stop in the middle until the crowd pleases them to keep going, and the bard won't do it, and he won't do it, and he won't do it, and then they bring him a drink and he does it. Well, some of the folks around here think they're going to be real slick and pull that same trick with their witch stories. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. Depends on how good the story is, I suppose.
Ah, all right. Cool. Well, I guess no free drinks for us then.
Not yet.
Yeah. Let's go find our friend and get go. Lana, we left him alone.
Oh,
Lana, we did it again.
okay, and we just go out of the bar, top speed.
Alright, so we've got Lana and Davynn peeling their way out of the inn on their way to find Xylund, and Pegasus has dropped you Hildreth at the edge of town, just as you see them leaving the pub, because the pub's right there at the edge of town, so you can actually see as you land.
In that case, Hildreth will be making his way over to those two.
Huzzah.
I imagine you stand tell in the crowd.
Yeah, well, yeah, first of all, there's not a whole lot of people on this side of town right now, other than in the pub, and secondly, yes, he's a silver dragonborn. Fairly noticeable.
Hey, Hildreth!
Hey! Thanks for bringing
What'd
my
you
horse
get here?
back. Glad you're here.
I can't be certain the two of you aren't shades sent to haunt me from beyond the afterlife.
I believe we did a trading of secrets for secrets. And you told me a thing about your parents.
That's still something a ghost would know. Cut your hand and show me you bleed.
I can do better than that. I will, pull down my shirt a little bit and then flick myself and show that the, scales harden on impact.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Hildreth will turn to Lana and just stare expectingly.
Are we gonna have to do this every time we're gone for a day?
Your horse came by with no message, no manner of what could have gone wrong.
My horse, shouldn't that prove that it's me? Look, it listens to me, and I'll just sort of have the horse, do something funny with its head.
I'm going to call a Pegasus closer to you. And
On second thought, I'm going to leave the Pegasus wherever the heck it is.
It's still standing, it's standing just inside the tree line on the edge of the town, because that's where it left from.
Gotcha.
So it's close enough that Hildreth can see you guys, but it's not.
I will have it rear up, but stay all the way over there.
All the way over there. Okay.
I'll take your words this time, but if anything happens, Next time we meet like this, I demand a sacrifice of blood for truth.
Hildreth, I thought we were friends. You gave me the hagstone.
We are friends. That's why I'm making certain that if I have to kill you because you're now the hungry undead...
Okay, here, I will toss the hagstone back to him. Look at me.
This only finds hags, not undead. But I will do as you say.
Sam does not show up as a hag.
What about Lana? Can't trust her.
Lana's not a hag.
Okay, just checking.
We have a mountain to fly up.
Well, I just got here.
We'll fill him in on the details of what we found.
All right.
Also, then fill him in on... Also, we just left Xylund alone again, so we should go find him.
So you'll walk and talk to the festival square. Xylund, with your wonderful investigation check, you don't find any disreputable, druggy-looking type around here. This seems to be a very wholesome, family-friendly festival square that's being put together.
God damn it, the worst kind of festival.
Yeah, so they're clearly preparing for a very big bonfire in the center of it. They're digging a pit and lining it with stones. Quite a few traders are setting up their stalls. They're settling in for the day. The actual exit to the mountain pass, they just call it a fire festival, yes. Not that fire festival, though. The actual pass that starts to cut into the mountains, it's flanked on either side by very similar monoliths to what you saw leading to Skettle's village, except much, much taller. The plinths are about 10 foot tall, and they have been built, and you can see where they've been sort of patched over and repaired. Somebody has put like limestone to it, patches to it, mortar to it, and it doesn't have the same style of mulberry markings, but there are some deep cuts into it that have been sort of worn down to the point where the picture is difficult to see anymore, but it was clearly there at one point. And there's now this archway. Within this archway of stone, it's been cordoned off very loosely with ribbons and garlands, which is what the clerics are working on at the moment, a string garland across this pass.
You know what? I bet I could get through that string barricade if I really wanted to.
Yeah, it's like that. It's not really prohibitive as far as structurally. Like, it would be difficult to get a horse through without breaking it, but a human being could, at the moment, especially, very easily slip through. What they're doing now as the other three approach the festival square as you stand in the middle of family-friendly hell.
Okay, guys, I think we might have to give up on the brocade I was talking about earlier.
Oh no, what a tragedy. Whatever are we to do?
Have a coffee, I guess.
Alternatively, would you like to go risk your life chasing after possible witches? I've heard it's a good adrenaline rush.
I'm kind of interested in this this festival thing they've got going, but I mean, that is more urgent. I mean, maybe we could knock that out real quick and then come back here to catch the tail end of the festival.
Sounds good to me.
Before we go up there, Yunnan dropped 2 packages off here, so we should figure out what those were.
Yeah, let's investigate that.
Oh, for Hildreth's benefit, Yunnan is the person that we've been looking for, a merchant who might be trading in polymorph people.
I'll remember it in case I hear the name again.
Oh shit, maybe the evicted souls don't dissipate into the ether. Maybe they got shunted in.
That's possible, yeah.
You guys didn't find Badger's body, did you?
We did not, as far as we could tell.
Weird. Okay. Anyway, so where are we going to find this package?
The town elder and also one of the merchants. We're not sure which one. Oh, and then finally, up at near the top of the pass, there is a house that she delivered to.
Okay. Well, let's go to the town alder first, since we know who that is, presumably. Or can find out.
Sounds good.
So-
Yeah, easy information to get. Yeah, they even told you his name. So
Oh, what was his name? Mazad.
yeah, the elder would normally be in the town hall, but due to the festival preparations, the elder is actually in the festival square. You wouldn't know them. They don't dress their station, but there is an older guy. Yeah, probably in his 60s. Still with all his own hair though, good beard, very Santa Claus looking, but a nice executive Santa Claus. He had a nice trim beard. Wearing very basic clothing. If no one had pointed out to you, you wouldn't have imagined that this dude was in charge. But he is helping with the setup of everything, getting the decorations in the rest of the square while the clerics are working on the pass, helping various merchants get their tables set, that sort of thing.
What's the name of this town again?
Skin.
Sorry?
Skin.
One more time. Okay, thanks. So I guess we'll go talk to Mazad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Easy enough to approach. Doesn't have any protection or anything.
So we've heard that you met with Yunan as she passed through.
So you kind of surprised? I did.
Introductions. That's Xylund. I'm Davynn from Whitfeld.
Lana.
I will look expectantly at Hildreth and wait.
Hildreth will stare back.
Yeah.
And that's Hildreth. Okay. Yeah, we clearly know your name.
He grins broadly. Well, I'm Mazad. In case. Welcome. And yes, I met with Yunan. Is she okay?
Yeah, probably. I mean, we just had business with her. We were wondering what business she had with you.
She brought me a special order. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? What kind of special order are we talking?
He looks like he's sort of scanning the crowd a little bit. Kind of stammering a little bit. Nothing important.
She deals in animals, right?
Among other things, yeah. Most known for her animals, but she carries odds and.
So this was an animal?
Seems to be getting increasingly uncomfortable.
Sorry, it's not that we mean to pry, it's just that well, we actually haven't gotten a chance to speak to her yet. And we're just trying to figure out what kind of business she's got up here.
Oh, well, she comes through every now and again, and I said sometimes if there's an item that you need, she'll do what she can to find it for you. Mostly she does deal in animals. Sometimes large, sometimes small. She seems to either have one or the other, which I've always found to be interesting. But yeah, in this case, she brought an item that I special ordered. He kind of looking around, he leans in a little bit. Bought a gift for my daughter. So
Gotcha.
it makes a motion like, please keep this quiet.
Was
I
it a
put
pony?
a finger to my lips.
He laughs. No, she wanted a pet rabbit.
Okay.
That's
Was
what
it
you
a
know.
special
Brought.
kind of-
Oh, just a rabbit. Look at all the inside checks.
Trust nobody.
Well, it just strikes me that rabbits wouldn't be too hard to find, and from what I heard, Yunnan traffics and more.
I also
Hard to
thought
come.
she dropped off a couple of things.
Did. She, according to the bartender, she had one package for the elder, and she dropped off a few things to one of the traders in the marketplace, but he didn't know which one.
Gotcha.
But based on your inside check, he seems to be telling the truth. And he looks at Xylund and agrees that normally, yes, there's plenty of those around here, but this one's an especially rabbit, and normally you don't see them that far south. These are big, tame, overly fluffy kind, for a girl kind of rabbit.
All right. Great. Well, thanks for clearing that up. Sorry for prying. Do you know who else she dealt with? I heard that she was working with one of the merchants here.
Yeah, Imna, and he points across the square to a half-elven woman who's still setting up her stall. She dropped some items over to her, and then she headed up the pass before the chapel closed it.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess we should go talk to her then.
All right. Well, enjoy yourselves.
We will.
Calls as you guys head out.
Oh,
And
hey,
yes,
before we leave this guy, I say to town elder, hey, have you heard the rumor? Apparently there's been some archaeological discovery up near the chapel. Bones, they say. Apparently, Saint What's-Her-Face actually ate her troop that she was traveling with.
Why?
Not so they just survived.
Why?
Hold on. What?
Anyway, keep it under your hat. You don't want to
roll your
spoil
deception.
festivities.
Roll your deception.
I'm not any good at deception.
Oh. So you managed to get through like 95% of the story without cracking a smile. But you got it broke there at the end a little bit, and his face was questionable. Like I wouldn't say he disbelieved you, but it was definitely, it would be a woe if true kind of moment for him. Like he did not want to believe what you were saying, but you're clearly a holy man, and that carries some weight here. So, yeah, you just sort of rock that man's world a little.
Okay, we are gonna go talk to this other person now. Thank you for your time. Xylund, what happened while we were
Why?
gone?
I came into some very interesting archaeological knowledge that I was sharing with the gentleman over there.
I think it's interesting knowledge. I've never had to eat anyone before, so I wonder what circumstances would bring that about.
Well, they
Wait,
they
hold
just
on.
traveled-
You haven't had to eat somebody?
Yeah, that's a surprise.
Why would I have eaten someone? That's
You talk
terrible.
about it like all the time. Or eating random things. I guess not people. I'm sorry. Personal biases re-examined.
Now I feel insulted.
Yeah, apologies. Let's go talk to this other merchant. What happened? Did a priest insult you or something?
Me?
Yes.
No. Like I say, I was wandering the market and I overheard this interesting archaeological find being discussed. Yeah.
You say that like you didn't crack up while telling the story.
Well, it's a funny story.
Well, while we're looking through the market, what kind of goods are on sale here?
Most of it is what you would kind of expect to see at a country fair. So there's a lot of the end of the season vegetables, fall type vegetables that you would expect to see. Some of them are more the cold weather variety. So Davynn would be quite as familiar with them, but a lot more spinach and sort of cold tolerant crops.
Gotcha. So mainly
And
farming things.
Some farming things, but also a lot of handicrafts too. So there's cloth, there's clothing, there's a lot of winter gear. There's some stuff here where most of the clothes that you're used to, all of you would be used to, are more the southern style, which is dyed whites and tans and things like that. So deeper colors are sort of a rarity, whereas up here it tends to be a lot more of the deeper greens and deeper blues that you would find in the local herbs and flowers. So yeah, there's a lot of cloth, a lot of clothing. You see a lot more wool and fur than you would see further down south, where it's more cotton and linen. But yeah, it's basically a glorified farmer's market. There's also a lot of herbal concoctions, soaps. Again, a lot of the end of the season, post first butcher kind of thing. So a lot of animal soaps and things like that, candles. Then, toys and other sort of small luxuries.
Well, it's probably not a bad idea to pick up some cold weather clothing if we're going up a mountain.
Would not be a bad idea for Davynn. I don't know if the others have cold weather gear or not.
I think I still have my big heavy cloak that I was using as a disguise at one point.
Oh yeah, you do have your disguise cloak.
I could probably buy a coat.
All right, let's go shopping after we finish up with her.
Right. So the trader that you're actually heading up to is a general goods trader. So she has a lot of kind of bulk items, so bulk cloth as opposed to clothes, bulk herbs, a lot of inks, paper, a few blank books, things like that. And she is sort of setting things out and getting them categorized. She looks up brightly. Says, I'm not quite open yet, but if you know what you're looking for.
We do, actually. Information, if you wouldn't mind.
Ah, information. Are you sure? I think herbs would be cheaper.
Well, consider us big spenders, I suppose.
Oh, those are my favorite words. What can I tell you?
We heard that you got a pickup from Yunnan when she was in town.
Yeah, she dropped off some of her wares, and she points to two smallish crates, about the size of bread boxes. One stacked on top of the other, and the top one's got its top pried off already.
Well, so a few things. First of all, I'm curious what she dropped off, and second of all, do you know her well?
Well, first of all, most of it's standard stuff. So if you had a special order, she didn't tell me about it. She wanders over to the little crate and starts pulling a few things out. I got thread and some dyes. She holds up one vial of a really pretty, very bright red color and half shakes it at you. I know this one's pretty rare. This I think she got from Mistress.
Oh, that's pretty.
She looks.
Oh, I
to see
like
if there's
that.
any
I like how that looks.
tears. You should, because it's awfully expensive. I don't know why she gave it to me up here, but you never know. So yeah, pretty standard stuff as far as what she brought. Just supposed to sell it for her since she's not opening a stall this year. And as far as the second part, yeah, I've known Yanan for 10 years now.
Yeah, I've heard it's weird that she's not opening up a stall. Person at the inn mentioned that she was worried or worried to get up through the pass.
Yeah, she was, and it is weird. Usually, Yanan does set up here. This is sort of, traditionally anyway, this is her last stop for the year. She's not a big fan of cold weather. So normally she sets up here, she tries to offload all the stuff she's collected through the year. She's got a bit of a hoarding problem, if you ask me, but she'll deny it. And then when she's done, she heads back home. And I don't see her again until spring. She's very much a hibernator. But over the past couple months, she's been going north an awful lot, taking the pass. And sometimes she doesn't even stop to say hello. I just see her as she comes back south.
Huh, that's strange. Has she had animals with her?
Small ones, which is also weird because I don't see her taking any livestock up north, which would kind of make sense because there's really there's no market at all up there, unless she knows something I don't. But normally she carries quite a bit of livestock. She likes them. She thinks she tells me that they're honest, which I understand, but so normally, yeah, she usually likes to travel with a large pack of animals, but normally when I see her headed north, she's got much smaller things in cages, like cats and snakes and little stuff, which, I mean, she likes little stuff too, I guess, but it's weird not to see her. Yeah. Cats and small dogs, and I know she got the elder a gift for his daughter, don't tell. And little things like that.
Would you mind? Was there a cat this time when she went up?
I think she had, well, it wasn't a cat. I think she had a kitten. Cute. I almost bought her myself. She was adorable, but Yanan wasn't interested in selling her. She had to go north.
Okay.
Awful cute, though.
Yeah, I believe that. Cool. Well, I think that's pretty much all we needed, but thanks for the information. How much for that?
Die?
Yeah, I'll motion to the die that I thought was really pretty.
3 gold pieces.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. She looks a little dumbfounded. She's not letting go of it. She puts out her hand for the money, but she's not letting go of the die.
Yeah, I'll take 3 gold pieces and give her it.
All right. Excuse me, as I die. 30 gold.
Wait, 30. I heard 30.
Yeah, no, 30.
Oh, I heard 3 too.
Yeah, likewise.
30.
That is a lot, yeah. Okay, Erie, can you describe the color and how pretty this is? Because
it is actually really beautiful. It's a very, very bright shade of like crimson red. It's not, I mean, it would be very foreign for Davynn to see it. It would be like purple for kings, it's that kind of thing. Like, this is a very distinctive shade of red, unlike anything he's ever seen outside of books.
Spending your money on anything else. Get the die.
It's unlikely you're going to run into it any place soon. Like, you've even been to Greylock and haven't seen anything like this. So this would definitely be a color of wealth and status.
Get another outfit change there, Davynn?
I don't know if I want to get another outfit change. I just think, well, yeah, I'm a fan.
It's beautiful.
Spend 30 gold on a bottle of goo, we can't be friends anymore.
You have definitely spent 30 gold on much worse things, Xylund.
Okay, you know what? That's fair. Your friendship is worth a lot to me, he says as he takes out 30 gold and holds it out behind his back.
You're dead. I go outside.
All right. 30 gold. Yeah, and she's absolutely dumbfounded, but totally happy
Hey, what can I say? Big spenders.
to. I appreciate it, and Yanan will appreciate it next time I see her, I'm sure, if she ever comes down. I'm sorry, I see gold and I forget my train of thought. Did you need livestock?
No, not really. We just were, I guess, following her trail and trying to figure out what's going on with her.
Well, if you figure it out, let me know, because she's been the oddest of ducks lately. Understand. And as you all are having your conversation with Imna, another call comes out. There's 2 more wagons that join the festival square. One is a massive covered dealie with little ribbons on it. There's no livestock with this one, but it's got multiple people with it. This seems to be more a performer's wagon than an actual trader. But there's also a smaller wagon with blue canvas cover of horses that pulls up right to one side. And makes a very odd face and just sort of stands there agape and points at the blue covered wagon. Huh.
What's going on?
Around, you see she's pointing at a middle-aged woman with a braid crown around her head. She's got a handful of livestock trailing behind.
Ooh.
2 small donkeys, 2 goats, and she's hopping down off the wagon and walking towards Imna as if she doesn't have a care in the world. And that is where we will stop for today. So we have hit time.
Damn you and your cliffhangers.
And so next session, we can
jumper.
begin the mystery of Yanan
We all
and her
jumper.
doppelganger.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun!